Welcome guys, welcome. I gave myself a very short amount of time to set up for today's chat tactic, but welcome. This is episode 14, I think. I just put in the number, but I can't remember if it was 13 or 14. Anyway, it's getting a little way into the year, which is great. I was going to start off this one. I'm going to give a couple of games to give away. I don't know which ones they'll be. I do actually have a fair few that I can actually sit and then go and give away at the moment. So I won't even start with my usual one. Normally I get them from developers, but in this case I do actually have a few games that was given to me by a viewer called Sharky Mouth. So I'll be giving away a couple of those games at the end of the session we missed out on last week. So we'll do that for this week. They'll give away a couple. And we'll go. So we'll sort of make sure that we give ourselves enough time to do a marble run. I have tested the this one here. Should be, if I just go to giveaways, I'll just double check. Just make sure it's all working. Yeah, there we go. So we're in and ready. I haven't set this up yet, so don't start putting the word win in just yet. But at least that is now working, so that's going to be fine. All right, so I'll just go back to the Steam page and we'll just sort of get started from there. So hi, Viren Games and William Thomas and Silbercol. Hope you guys are all doing well, and anybody else that joins us as well. If you're watching this sort of like, after we've already done it, then unfortunately you probably already missed out on the opportunity to win some games. But I've got a fair few now in the coffers, so we should be giving at least one game away per week. And we've got some good games actually. I've got some very, very good games coming up that I can sort of give away. So we're looking good for a month or two actually, which is nice. I don't think I've ever been in this position where I've got like a bank of games up my sleeve. Anyway, let's get into it. Actually, I just went to my my Discord channel, and there was news had dropped that essentially Shadow Empire has now got a new DLC which has been announced. So we'll start there and actually have a bit of a look and see what's what. We'll do a bit of a deep dive into of course Shadow Empire, which is actually, and one of the interesting things here is this has just come out as well. Shadow Empire Complete, which is the same price as Shadow Empire. So if you don't have Shadow Empire and you wanted to get it, this is Australian dollars, by the way, and there's Republica that is now sort of just showing up in through there as well. Thank you there, Chevron, saying, imagine my surprise when I'm watching a Shadow Empire ChatTactic VOD and he goes live right now with a new one. Well, we're not going to be playing Shadow Empire as such. We're going to be just doing a deep dive into that, but I do appreciate the super chat, so thank you very much for that one. Right, so we've got the... I'll just go to Shadow Empire. We'll start from there and just work our way through. So Republica is the new DLC that will be coming. So, but the interesting thing here is that they've now actually got the complete Shadow Empire Complete, which is actually so you essentially get the DLC, the Oceania DLC, off at this point in time. Now I've sort of said Oceania doesn't do much for me without the naval units. Now the new DLC coming will not include naval units. I'm thinking naval units will have to be sort of added in as just like an extra part of that. But we'll have a bit of a deeper dive into see where they're planned to be brought in. Hi Morbits, how you going? And Ivan saying dollary dues, there we are. So Shravan is saying, oh well, just as well either way. Yeah, no, I'll be continuing on that game of Shadow Empire, so we'll actually continue playing that. But we'll just go through the news, I guess, of what's actually is coming at this point in time. So we'll have a look at the announcement. But this is, of course, Shadow Empire, one of the best games sort of built in recent years. Of course, people actually always say that the graphics look like they're from the 1990s, and I would agree with you. I think that's sort of that is sort of the case. By the way, I will just before we get started, I will actually point out that if you do actually, we'll start it up. I'll fire it up and show you some things if you haven't got the game. And I'll just talk a little bit about. So you do actually have Oceania is the most recent of the DLCs, which has been out for a couple of years now, I think. But it really, for me, it fell a bit flat. Like it's okay. Like Oceania is okay. It's not mind-blowingly great. And for me, the reason that I don't love it is because of the lack of naval units. Even though it's an oceanic worlds, you sort of at the beck and call of what are called maritime trade houses, which actually then sort of operate the ocean areas, and so you've got no actual agency or control over the actual oceans themselves in Oceania, which is sort of, for me, always felt funny. I was always uncomfortable with that, to be honest. So anyway, that's sort of I'll just load the save game in. So I don't not recommend Oceania, but I don't recommend it either, because I think at some point it will become great when Vic sort of figures out the best way of actually handling the way that maritime forces sort of need to work in the game. I think that a big problem with the maritime forces and bringing Navy forces in is the scale of the hexes. Like, every hex in the game is supposed to be like 300 kilometres across, and so that then sort of makes like when you've got like oceanic regions of the game, it makes it sort of difficult from that perspective to make it work. But I just think I think it just abstracting the sizes and not worrying too much about the sizing, I think would be the way around that. Personally, I don't think there should be a problem with actually doing this one through here. So what I thought I'd just quickly talk about, so Shadow Empire again. It's not 3D. It's a 2D game basically. It's like a war game combined with a role play game. So you've got sort of like role play aspects. You've got all sorts of different things. You've got politics. You've got all sorts of things that actually sort of operate in the game itself. And so, and this is the game that I've been playing just in the last few weeks, which is it's an awesome game. It's one of my favourite games. But just the naval units are I guess the one thing where I really want them. Like, it's funny because the old game, like the what was it called, Advanced Tactics Gold. I thought that navies were pretty good in Advanced Tactics Gold, but of course then the scale of the actual operations is a little bit less than in this particular game. So every single hex that we see through here is supposed to be 300 kilometres across. It's maybe a bit hard to see on the screen there, but anyway, I thought I'd just point out that if you have the game, it's very important with your units to know where you can actually then go and set things up. For example, we've got like a war that has started up in this top corner. So this group in through here, Darkshire, we're at war with in this particular game. They're miles away from us, but it's very important to know what the terrain looks like for being able to sort of stop incursions into your territory. And so in this case, we've actually got like some high mountains in through here, a low mountain, a high mountain, a low mountain. If I just press the number 1 key, you can sort of see there's like a very nice mountain range in through here. And so this is actually an ideal place to sort of stop armies. So setting up defences along this mountain range is incredibly useful. But it's very hard to see it without, like, these graphics here make it very clear about what the terrain is. I wish that it was sort of part of the base game, but it's actually not. This is actually a mod. I made this mod years ago when the game first came out because I couldn't tell the difference between a high mountain, a low mountain, and even just this. Like, it all sort of looks the same, and so that was a big problem for me to be able to then see what was going on with the actual various terrain. So I made this mod to highlight the different sorts of terrain, mainly for defences, but also for planning how to break through. For example, that's a low mountain there, but it doesn't look all that similar. It doesn't look all that dissimilar to just the plains around it. But to build a road through from there to there is extremely expensive. And so if I go into, for example, just press the R key and just do a dirt road, and if I sort of start in here and then go to this location, hang on, I need to set it up from another location first. If I move into that one through there, you can see it's going to cost me like 320 industrial points just to move on to that particular location. If I move down into, for example, this is a sand dune, it's going to cost me 40 industrial points. If I move from instead of that sand dune to that one through there, which is a tall sand dune, I'm going to get 120 industrial points just to move from that one little location. So knowing what the terrain is extremely important. So I thought I'd just mention that, just in case you do want to grab the mod. I'll show you where the mod actually is. But this is, but that, like just for building roads, what you're looking for is either low sand dunes or plains all the way through. Like if you have to go across mountains, if you end up playing on a very, very mountainous planet, and you have to cross mountains, it's going to cost you a fortune, particularly if you then have to start to build rail as well. So the rail lines are quite expensive to go through anything other than plains. So just be aware of that when you are playing it, and it is difficult to see that in the base game. So so I made this mod again, one, so that you can actually sort of plan where your roads and that need to go, but also if you do actually have a look at this, and we have a look at the plane as an example. If I hover over this one, it then gives you the information about what you can then go and do in the actual like in the plane. So the way it sort of works is you've got movement costs. You can see there's no movement cost for like the actual action point cost is like 25 for foot. Wheels is only 15 action points, air is 10, tracked is 10. So tracked actually like moving across planes. You can sort of see there the actual movement cost is very, very good. Walkers are 15. And so every single movement type in that bottom sort of section there has a different way of actually approaching things. But then the important thing really is just how defensive that location or how difficult it is to attack it. So on a plane, you can see that there's no attack modifier or defense modifier pretty much for anything other than protectors, which are sort of like they're like force fields. And so in this case, there's no real advantage or disadvantage for fighting in the plains, which ultimately means that tanks have a massive advantage. You can see there it's got the A and ENTR, which is essentially the automatic entrenchment. And so this is automatic entrenchment there is 25. So when a infantry or a gun goes into a plane, it automatically starts with 25 entrenchment, and it can get up to maximum entrenchment there of 100. So the EMX is max. In fact, that probably would be better to say MAX and then ENT or something like that. Anyway, that's maximum entrenchment back in through that other side. So you've got these different aspects about the way that terrain is really, really important to make sure that you maximize it. So knowing what the terrain does is also very, very important. You can also see there's river crossings. Now on this map I don't actually have a river crossing, but in this because we're playing in a very, very desolate world, so there's no rivers in this particular world. But if I go to these low mountains and have a look at the difference there, you'll see that the action point cost now goes fairly high. So for foot it's 40, wheeled is 50, tracked is 40 as well, walkers are 40. Walkers tend to do pretty well in the mountains, so that walkers can actually can operate in the mountains themselves. But you can see there it costs a fair bit to move into these. But the important thing there is, look what happens with the modifiers. Infantry have got an attack and defense modifier of 0, same as on a plane. The automatic entrenchment is 100, the same as on a plane as maximum entrenchment, but it can then entrench up to 200. So it gives them, for infantry that stay some time on a mountain or like on a low mountain, they're going to be able to dig in fairly effectively and make it very difficult to actually break through. So knowing what the terrain is really, really important. Guns, you can see there, are the same. They don't attack well into a low mountain, but they do certainly entrench very, very well. Even walkers, you can sort of see through there. It doesn't have walkers have a bit like infantry though. There's no attack or defense modifier for them, and they do actually have some basic entrenchment with them as well. But then you look at tanks. Tanks have got a -50 attack modifier and a -25 attack modifier, and they don't entrench anywhere. But that's sort of that's what you get with sort of low mountains. So knowing where low mountains are is important. But then when you look at high mountains as well. In this case, you can sort of see there that tracked and wheeled vehicles cannot go into a mountain hex, into a tall mountain or a high mountain. And so in this case, you've then got your entrenchment goes up even higher for your infantry and for your guns. It's even more expensive for tanks to attack you in a high mountain area. So thinking in terms of when you see mountains like this, where you've got like a little mountain range, and the game does a great job of creating these little blocks in through here, where you've got like different ranges. Usually they're not too long, but they're great because they do give you, like, there's just one little gap there that we would need to protect. Really, like we'd have to, once we've got infantry across here, and across here we've only just got the one little gap down through that side, and we do then have a gap potentially down this way as well if that particular group wanted to get aggressive. So all I need to do is really just, I need to know what the terrain actually is. So anyway, that mod, let me go and show you where to get that if you are interested. So if you've got the game and you do want to get it, just go to ko-fi.com and then /ChatTactic. So that's it there, and then just go to shop and go down to, now depending on if you're playing with Mark Royer's terrain mod, you can actually grab this one. These are free, by the way, but if you like the way that Mark Royer has set up his terrain, then you can grab this one, which actually puts these icons on top of his modeling, so we were sort of working together to put that one together, or if you just have the basic ones, which is what I've currently got in that other game, you can just grab it from here. And so what this one does again is just put 0 in there, get it now, and you can just download it straight away. So that's completely free. It's just a really convenient way for me to be able to package it up and just have it ready for people to go. So essentially that's where we end up getting that one through there. So it's just a zip containing the graphic mod files, and so there's instructions in there about how to do it. So so it's essentially all you're doing is just copying it into the actual game folder. It's very, very easy to install it. It just sort of replaces graphics, and you can always, to get rid of it, you can always just do a verification on your game, and then you're done. But it does actually, it shows you not just mountains. It shows you, like this is, for example, that one there is like low mountains with forest. You've got like basic forest. You've got heavy forest as well. Like if there's sort of double forest, you've got jungles, and they all have different bearings with the defense and also with the cost of getting roads through them. So so it's, for me, it's a mod that, as I say, I wish it was part of the base game, but it's not, and it really, yeah. So there we go. So William Thomas saying it's easy. I was able to do it. Well, look, it's funny. Like a lot of modders are, they're coders. They're basically they're used to programming things, and I think they take for granted that people who aren't modders, like it's actually can be a bit daunting to be starting to play with the files on your system. Like I've got a lot of friends who would really, really balk at actually doing anything like that on their computers. And so it is one of those things where the easier you can make it for people, the better, really. And unfortunately, the only way to do this one is to actually put it on top of existing files. There's no actual mod system. There is a bit of a mod system, but not a hell of a lot of one in the game itself. Anyway, I thought I'd just show that one. If you do want it, that's actually where that is. It's just the Shadow Empire Terrain Icons mod, or if you wanted to grab, if you're using the Mark Royer ones, which is the same process with what he does there, is to just go in and grab this one here. Again, just put 0 in the amount to pay, and then you can see his colours are much deeper than the base colours in the game. So he's got sort of like richer colours, which do also make it a bit easier to see what's going on. So you can sort of see pretty much a bit more clearly than the base game the different sorts of terrain. But again, you can sort of see through here. I've got like double trees there, which essentially means it's a heavy forest, which again have different bearings on the way that the game actually does work. But it says this is a mod to add over the top of M. Royer's terrain mod. So you've got there the view topics. So you install his first and then this one afterwards. So you install Mark's, because mine don't replace everything in Mark's, but they do override stuff in Mark's. So when Mark has got his, like once you install Mark's one, you can then install this one over the top just to get the same icons in through here. I haven't checked it for a little while actually. It's been a year and a half, so I haven't checked to see if Mark has actually updated his for quite some time. So anyway, that's something that if he has, I probably will have to update mine as well. Update this one, which isn't onerous, but it does take a little bit of time to do it. But a lot of people, have grabbed this one. They've 2,000 have bought this for $0. There we are. But feel free to grab it. Like that's, I find coffee.com really, really handy for just popping these collections of files together. Anyway, that's a I won't even say a shameless plug because I don't get anything back from that. But it is actually something that I do find extremely helpful when I'm playing the game personally. As I said before, I sort of wish it was part of the base game, something like this, because I think it does. I think it really does help a lot to be able to plan ahead. Anyway, yeah. So Shadow Empire. Let's just go. I'll just read a few more of the chats. I'll just alt tab across. Actually, I'll just get rid of Shadow Empire. We don't need to be looking at that anymore. I'll just quit that one out, and we'll quit that as well. So, what did I get up to? Hi Kay Shizzle, how are you going? And Morbits is saying Galactic Civilization 3 had a small update. New version, Alien GPT, and a few... do you mean Galciv 4? That might be Galciv 4 I think you're talking about. Yeah, I've got to get back and play more Galciv 4. I really like that game a lot. And so Sorbical, does every Galactic Republic Parliament have a look like Star Wars? Yeah, it's sort of funny. It's funny because like where I work, like during the day, like I'm sort of, I sort of do. It's more than part time, but it's sort of it's essentially a job where I do the graphic design and the graphics and stuff. And with May the 4th coming up, which is Star Wars Day, which is coming up in what's that, Sunday? So on Sunday they've got so that's Star Wars Day. And yeah, so anyway, just a bit of it's just fun because like we've got we do videos and stuff like that at work as well, so we're sort of putting together like a bit of a Star Wars video for the company, which would be fun. Anyway, that's off the thing, but yeah, you are right. I think Star Wars has had such a massive impact on the actual on the overall look of and feel of how particularly human type empires work in games, which is interesting. Yeah, Draco Strife is saying, you said you don't have direct control of naval units in Oceania. No, you don't. You basically buy protection from maritime trade houses, and then they help you. Like if you need to get like if you need to have like a supply route that goes through the oceans, you need to string to. Actually, I'll show you. I'll open it up again. I mean, no screaming great rush today, so not that we'll be able to see the maritime trade houses, but I can show you the way it does work in the game. And this is actually, I can also try to explain, I think, why it's been so difficult to put naval units in the actual game itself. So I'll just go and throw this one in there. We'll just go into, so we'll start a new game. I love this game. Like the scope of what this game has got. And Oceania, I was so excited for it when it was coming to get the ocean worlds. So if I go into, so this is, you can see this has got the Oceania DLC is part of the unclassified. I can actually have it turned on for that one to create like water worlds just generically with unclassified, or I can go to Oceania and then go and build specific oceanic type worlds if I wanted to. So I've got like hydroid classes, and again, if you just sort of if you hover over this one, so actually it's only saying select. It doesn't tell me what the thing actually. Oh, there we go. It does have some of them. There we go. Young planetoid that happens to find itself in the Goldilocks zone. Due to the often young age, these planetoids are often or might not have a very developed life. These planetoids are quite rare, but they do exist. And so these are sort of like little oceanic worlds. If we go to this one here, for example, and I'll just go continue. I'll just sort of rattle my way through it. I do have the Oceania DLC features turned on in like when I do get started. If you're not playing with a planet that is built for Oceania, it just won't turn on anyway. So in this case, that one works. Just go continue, and so this will then create one where the algorithm is going to put like a lot of water down. You can see the 86% oceans. Just go continue. This is the depth of the ocean. Okay, we've got an aquatic large 4-metre carnivore is the only type of life that's on this particular world. So not very many people settled. So it means we're not going to have a massive war either, I don't think. Went for a fair while. Start the game. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have turned off the... I'll do it again. I should have turned off the fog of war. Yeah, I'll just... let's grab these. I don't think we're going to be able to see it clearly. Just get rid of all of that stuff. Get rid of that stuff. And yeah, I'll just dismiss that message. So yeah, we're only seeing a portion there. What I'll do is I'll just go back out and start again. God, I love it. I love how it builds things, you know, like in this game. It's just great. Again, you can see there the mountains and this is swamp in through this other side. If I just go back up, quit the game, yes, start a new game. Okay, so what I should have done there is turned on the fog of war, or at least partially. So I'll do the same thing again. I'll just go to Oceania. Go to the same one there, which sort of creates like continents. That one's okay. And this is fog of war, so no map otherwise complete. So I can just go that way, or just partial. If I go partial, that way we sort of have most of the planet is then exposed, but not the actual workings of the enemy units. But this way we can sort of see the everything on the actual planet itself for the whole time. Again, 86% ocean, 8 meter herbivore this time. A lot more people in this particular world. Okay, we'll just grab those. Just skip through all this stuff. So when it creates it, it actually does create the worlds, you know, like using planetology, which like, you know, it actually makes sense of what it does, a bit like what Dwarf Fortress does when it also then creates worlds. But what you'll sort of see through here is that you've then got you've got zones, and so the way it works with this game is you're not really just looking at the you know at the areas. So what the trouble with using naval forces is because of the scale of every single hex being so small, it sort of then makes it so that trying to manage like a large area is quite tricky. So what you need to do is you need to have control when you're playing with Oceania. The upshot here is that you need to have control over the over these areas. So this is the Crimson Tide MTH, which has got control over the Heron Ocean. This is the sort of like the, I guess the sea. So there's a Heron Ocean in through that side. There's a Heron Ocean down through here as well. All of this is different sections of Heron Ocean, and you can see there that this is the Crimson Tide MTH controls this one here, which is sort of like surrounds our territory. So they're the ones that we'd need to become friendly with, and they're sort of like a merchant pirate faction, essentially, was what would be then controlling this. And so they then give you the way through to then be able to make use of the actual of the ocean itself. So you don't actually get to control any actual naval forces, but you do engage with them for them to be able to then send to allow you to then actually have, like, you've still built ports, so you still build the infrastructure for these maritime trade houses to then operate on your behalf. So you try to become friendly with them. They've got shares in their company. You try to get hold of the shares of their company. It's a very clever system for what it is. And so I think that still is good to have. The trouble is that you don't actually get to physically control the naval units. And so what you're doing is you're buying into the maritime trade houses, or you're trying to sort of get control over them a little bit, so you can then go off and then do another, like, landing here, for example. And so you'd land somewhere along this beach, because you would then sort of pick a landing spot once you're actually friendly with the maritime trade house. They would then operate a supply line, which does show on the map. So it's actually pretty cool the way it does actually work. So you end up with a supply line in through there, but there's no naval forces to go and interrupt that. So the trouble that Vic had, because of the scale of the game, like, you know, there's a lot that can go on. Again, if that's 300 kilometers across from there to there, and you know, and then all the way through, it's a long way across the actual ocean. And so if the enemy players had their own units that could actually then operate in this system, it would be too difficult to keep supply lines open. And so it makes the overall logistics and supply a lot more difficult having naval units in there, because they're like in a 300 kilometre area, the chances of them finding each other is also could be fairly slim, and then let alone you're sort of looking at something that's like thousands and thousands of kilometres across in through here to be able to then sort of try to sort of operate in that sort of sense. So I'm thinking it'd be better just to have it abstracted and have this set so that if there's a naval force over here, they can certainly see a naval force over here, just so that you've actually got better control. But that's it's a tricky one. So he's actually been trying to figure out the best way of doing that. And so Vic the developer, he doesn't just rush into these sorts of things. So he's got very legitimate reasons for trying to make it work. It's just hard to make it work, I believe. So this is like, for example, the Heron Ocean Maritime Trade House controls that zone. It also controls this one as well. It controls that one. So you can see there that a lot of them have got multiple areas. So getting involved with them, like the Heron Ocean MTH is like a big one. Like they control all of this ocean all the way through there. Then they've got like the Hera Lakes Maritime Trade House, the Zeus Sea Maritime Trade House. So Heron Ocean is got massive control. There's another Crimson Tide back in through there. So Crimson Tide, and the bigger they are, of course, the more difficult it is to of course, buy into them, because they've become very, very powerful. There's Crimson Tide up through there again as well, and that's another Heron Ocean. So we wouldn't need in this sort of game. We've got some incredibly good choke points. What it does do though is once we've actually got once we're friendly with this Crimson Tide one, and they can actually take over. The maritime trade houses can actually, can take over the different sea zones. So you can actually sort of support one to then go and attack another one. But again, it's abstracted for you, so you don't really get to be too involved in the actual combat itself. But in this case, we've got choke points in through there. You could, if you were, high up in the Crimson Tide Maritime Trade House, is to get like a landing further up the coast to be able to then sort of cut things off. So it sort of works. It works well. It's just not ideal, is I guess the way of putting it. So that's why it's not. I don't not recommend it, but I really, really wish that there was that we actually had our own naval forces we could actually operate with. It would be cool to actually have the maritime trade houses working as a pirate empire, where you still had your own. If you needed to have like a control a sea lane, and that's really the main reason that you'd actually be wanting to have navies, as would be to actually then have like if you wanted to invade this, I'd need to control just control that area through there. And if the maritime trade houses had their own navy and we had our own navy, and we weren't friendly with them, we'd have to then fight them off. Or if there was enemy forces as well with their own navies, we'd have to sort of then do something. So I would like that. I think for me that would be pretty cool, but it certainly does add a lot to the game. It's just without naval forces at this point in time. So and I know that they've sort of been on the to-do list for quite some period of time. But it's a really, really cool. It's really cool what he's done. It's just not 100%. Just without navies, for me, it's not fully there. So the Oceania. I don't not recommend it, but I also don't actually recommend it because of the lack of navies. But they will come at some point, I'm sure of it. So, in fact, it is on the to-do list. I know that as well. And I know that, again, Vic does actually look at things. In fact, this is here. It looks like it's a... look at the assets there. Yes, this is a private harbour. So this is actually a harbour, again, that can be then sort of where goods can be shipped out from this particular location. So we have, that's a harbour that we control. So you've got, this is what I mean, there's sort of like, there's a whole lot of new things as well that are actually in the game, which is very, very cool. It's just we don't have navies. And I would love that. I would love to have navies. All right, so I'll just go back to the chat. Let me go back across. So, so you don't have direct control over naval units, but you still have agency over the areas through the maritime trade houses. So it's okay, it's just not ideal. So that's sort of the way it works. Hi, C. Baker, how are you going? Ivan's saying, Shadow Empire is the best 4X game I've played since Alpha Centauri. Thinking about it, I haven't played Alpha Centauri in a long, long time. I wonder if there's a widescreen fix for it. I don't know, like it's sort of like Alpha Centauri for me, got replaced by Pandora, and then Pandora essentially became Gladius. Like so Gladius is sort of like ended up replacing, and of course that's now changed from the Alpha Centauri style way of playing through to a Warhammer style. But yeah, I stopped playing Alpha Centauri as soon as Pandora came out, and so I haven't played it for an awfully long time. Pandora is quite an old game now, but it's yeah, it was, and of course Xenox is the new game from that particular development team. But yeah, no, it's sort of yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I agree with you. This is probably the closest in sense of the way of playing, and also the other cool thing about this is that of course the actual factions that you play with are fairly new. Actually, I might even show that now as well, because if I just go back to my reports. I'll just call the secretary and we'll resign. Click on OK. Yes, we'll resign. And I've just got to go through the various decisions. I'll just click on any old thing. And there we go. And if we just end our turn. Yeah, what this gets fairly cool is that the, and this leads on into the DLC that's going to be coming, by the way. And there we go. So we've resigned. So we now get to see the whole game. We can see, so there's no longer any fog of war. And at this point, we can then go and have a look at everything that's going on. So you can see there the different types of units that we've got in through this other side. These are, this is Lead Spire, which is, actually, where is it? Bannerkeep. And so these are confeds. And so confeds are sort of like militant farmers, but you can actually go and deal with them. So so that particular location, this is actually what's really, really interesting with the game as well, depending on how it's set up. And if we go back into the reports and have a look at the help file and have a look at the planetary, where is it, the apocalypse. At the end of the apocalypse, you then get to see what's left on the planet. And so in this case, there's 98% scavengers and 2% farmers. And so these are essentially the broad groups that you end up having. And so confeds are in the farmer category. So they've actually come through from farming. But we still have scavengers. Hunters are also can be reasonably friendly. Raiders are not friendly at all. But we don't actually have raiders in through here. So we've got sort of like low life units. Most of those will be in there. But we'll have a smattering of farmers, or in this case, confeds is like a farming group. If we go back up into here. What's this group? This is these are guardians. So these will also be sort of similar to farming as well, I think. Actually, they've got this is a major up in this other side. These are theocratic major regimes. So these are sort of like religious fanatics. There's one of the creatures that we sort of ended up randomly spawning in the ocean. This one here is confeds again as well. These are not unfriendly. This is another theocratic major regime. Is that the same as... No, that's actually different again. So we've got different groups. This is Roaders. So these are the scavengers. So this particular group are more like Mad Max. Where this is going in. There's more different creatures in the ocean. So we don't actually can't see any that are on the land. This one here are confeds again. So fairly friendly. Guardians again. So we're getting sort of like that farming... slash sort of scavenging type thing. Let me just zoom out a little bit. This one here are confeds as well. Confeds for that one. So we're getting a lot in that sort of sense. Non-aligned forces back up through there. There is a road there. Here we go, Roaders again. So these would be, so Roaders would have like a different sort of mix of units. You can see there that they're basically, most of them are going to be, so for every group that they've actually got, they mainly sort of go around in trucks. So they've got a heap of trucks, but they've got like artillery, you've got all sorts of stuff, like tanks, buggies. So this is like a Mad Max group. Every single one of these will be a similar sort of mix of different sorts of forces. In this case, they've got anti-grav lifters, which allow them to move through mountains a lot more effectively. This is another group. These are free folk marauders, which also are using trucks in this instance. This group through here is slavers. So these ones actually sort of got a different group of different type of units. So they've just got slavers in through here, which are just basic infantry, not very strong. Along with some armoured cars and tank units as well. So they've sort of got they can be fairly powerful overall. Just trying to find something else where we can sort of see the difference. But I love just how much flavour there is in the game. So for the, this is Confeds, which is just a minor regime. But the actual units in through here, they've got the Confeds. They're not going to have the same sort of ability to be able to manoeuvre as we saw with the Eroders. So the Eroders actually do have a completely different look. And of course, depending on how friendly the actual the planet is, and this is a fairly friendly planet, will then impact a lot as to what you end up getting. So I'll just start one more and just show you what I mean. Like if we go back into just quit the game and just start a new game. I'll start with on a lava world, which would be very, very aggressive, very difficult to survive on a lava world. And so we'll end up with a completely different group of people at the back end of this. So this is a volcanic world. I'm just going to go grab a drink of water, be right back. So you can see lots and lots of deserts. Big sand dunes running through there. Wow, it's a lot of population on such a crappy world. And so we'll see a completely different mix. We should anyway, I think, of what we can sort of then end up finding with the various forces. But Republica will now make use of the work that's been done. Black Keep, that sounds good. Close it off for a second. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just go and just do whatever you want to do in through here. All right, and we'll just go back to our reports. Call the secretary and resign, and then we'll just yes, resign, done, and end our turn. So these are there's no water on these worlds, so that makes life very, very difficult. What you do end up with though is you end up with lava flows, which also then they do create. It's difficult to attack across them. I can show you that as well. Actually, you can see there's massive mountain ranges in through here. There we are. So we've given that one up. So as we sort of stem back from here, we should see a very, very different mix. In fact, if we just go back into the reports and go back into the help and then the apocalypse, back in through this other side. So we're now seeing scavengers and raiders. So we're not really seeing farmers anymore. So we've still got a scavenging group, which could still mean that we do get confeds on the planet, and like Confederates and stuff like this. But the raiders will now be much more prevalent. So we'll end up with a different sort of group coming through, and we should end up with mutants and things like that as well on the actual planet itself. In fact, sorry, I'll just go back to. I've just changed the just press the I key just so I'm in inspection mode, which sort of means I can't accidentally click on anything. Not that it really matters in this instance. But if I go and have a bit of a look at different things, so this is sort of like a big lava flow. If let's just say that I'm protecting across this particular area and look at the rocky plains. We looked at this before. See how it's got crossing river for the river crossings? It's then got the different movement types for them to get across that lava flow. And so the lava flow does sort of add a lot to it. So these are considered rivers in the game, but it makes it so that anything that's attacking across that river hex suffers a a disadvantage with the way that they do sort of come across. Walkers, you can see through there, actually are probably the easiest of the ones to sort of then be able to operate across a lava crossing like this. So that river crossing is then sort of where that does apply. Multiply that with low hills like this, and then you've got something where you've got like high entrenchment, difficult for tanks to maneuver, plus there's also another negative. So this is where the game does a great job of being able to essentially sort of using the terrain. You can do a lot of work. Now this is like this mountain range into here would be really debilitating, like with what it's actually doing. But let's actually have a little look at some of these other. This is these are Guardians again. We sort of saw the Guardians back into there the other time. So we just go back to their different types of units. And so these are actually, this particular group has got like some infantry. It's also then got sentinels, which are these are AI walkers. So they've got like walkers that so this is like ancient sentinels that work with them, with assassin androids and warrior androids. So these are sort of more high tech. If we go and have a look at some of the others, like this one here, again more sentinels, assassins and warriors in amongst the actual guardians themselves. So that's just like a different sort of group in that particular group. So the flavour of the game changes an awful lot. Like this one here are these are also guardians, so we should actually see more walkers, I guess. Yep, so we're seeing sentinels back in through there as well. What else have we got? We'll just zoom out a little bit. This is non-aligned forces. They're just going to be sort of random. White hold. Farmers, actually, I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised to sort of see them on the map. I didn't think we would. There's a major regime up through there. They're militarist major regimes. So these are going to have sort of like more of a military bent with what they do. This group over through here are confeds again. So we're sort of seeing more. I'm not seeing the diversity of groups that you tend to sort of see with these. What's this one? This is another major. These are Republicans, and they're trying to be friendly, and so this is actually like a fairly benign. Actually, the planet itself is not all that bad. Mercanteers, so these will actually have these are sort of more going to be like traders. If we have a look at their forces, they're going to have mercanteers, so they're not going to be very strong overall, but they would like for money they would sort of become quite friendly. Religious fanatics. So in this case, we're going to sort of see different groups in through here as well. Mainly infantry, I would guess. Yeah, so just fanatics all the way through. So these are like Fremen on Dune. More powerful than what you'd typically see with infantry, but they're still not overly powerful. That's a commune. This is religious fanatics as well. What else have we got? Non-aligned forces. So it's a bit hard to sort of see all the different groups, but actually what's this one here? Confeds again. So each group has got its own flavour. These are Republicans again, they're going to be that's major and fairly friendly. Here are nomads. Nomads are quite different. They've got like cavalry. So the actual groups themselves will have like biped cavalry that they've brought to the planet. And so yeah, they'll be sort of, and these move very quickly, and they can move through your forces very fast. So you need to sort of stop these when you can, but when you see the word territory, you're not going to see, there's not going to be any actual cities that they control. They just control areas. So they're not really, they're of very limited value. Scavengers, so this is different again. These are going to be sort of like, again, sort of almost like a Mad Max sort of style group. You've got sentinels as well, actually, with wasp hives and scavenger type units. Again, the game has done a great job of sort of picking things up. Like these are actually using all sorts of different units, different combinations in through there as well. But it's it's an interesting game. And the one thing you'll notice here is there's not a real lot of tanks or trucks, and the reason for that is there's no oil on this planet because there's no life on this planet. So there's no, like, everything is actually, I just lied. There's some trucks. I don't know how they're getting oil. They might be manufacturing it. Oh, this is Free Folk Marauders. They're going to have a bit more of a broad selection of things, so that they're not under the constraints of having to oil up or fuel their actual tanks or anything like that. But you won't see it in a normal group through here. Like this one here is Guardians again. So we're not going to see tanks in this group of Guardians, but if we were on another planet, there's a high chance we'd start to sort of see other things. But with these, they have to then conform to what the resources are that they have, and in this case, they don't actually have oil. So anyway, that's the it's just as a lead into Republica. This is sort of how the base game is sort of set up with different groups that will perform in different ways. Like the Guardians will actually have a completely different way of playing than for example, scavengers. Or raiders or slavers. They've all got a different mode of playing, which is actually really, really cool. I'll just read more of the comments and we'll just get back to it. Sorry, I sort of read one comment and then go and show stuff. So McLeod is saying, I just read through the game spiel. It looks like there is less than there's less than Oceania. I wanted naval units and an overhaul to aircraft. The game is already complicated enough. Didn't need more. It's the focus, and having spoken to Vic, which I think I did a podcast on Explorminate with Vic as well, like just to ask him questions about, and he was talking about Republica there, and that's sort of where his focus has been for quite some time. And that's why we're sort of seeing these different things do come in. We'll go back and have a look at the actual spiel, and then we'll sort of comment on what's actually coming. But I was when he was talking about it, I was thinking, oh, that's going to be awesome. I just wish that naval units were in there beforehand. So naval units for me are more important than any of these things, but they're just it's just difficult. So Brian Boyer is saying, would love if you would do a complete tutorial series, including just setting up the game. I actually have. I've got a series in the game. I'm actually really quite happy with that series. It's oldish now from when the game came out, but still relevant. It's sort of what I did was because it is so complex. I said every single tutorial episode focuses on one aspect of the game, and that hasn't really changed much in the subsequent years. So the overall approach is the same, and what I did was just like the minimum you need to know to be able to do something, and then the nitty-gritty of how things actually do work. Yeah, it's sort of like, as I said, I'm still really quite happy with that tutorial series, to be honest. It's if you do a search for Shadow Empire tutorial, through my channel, you should be able to find it there. And as I said before, if you're not really wanting to know why things happen, I've got I do a how to do something, and then I go and then I explain for maybe sort of 80% of the video is about why it's happening. So just in case you're sort of wanting to understand what's going on underneath it. As I said before, the 20% is just how to do it, and then the next bit is why it's doing it. So that was what I did through there. CB is then saying, that's right, Draco, the ocean tiles are under control of third-party maritime entities, which you have to interact with to get transport across the water. You can influence them, pay them, etc. Yes, but you yourself have no naval units, only land and air units. Yes, and that's the trouble for me anyway. Thor has done. You've done a short primer tutorial, haven't you? A tutorial of I've done that as well. But I do actually have like a series. I won't search for it, but it's a few years old now. But it's still relevant, I think. So Dom UK saying, hey Daz and chat, hi, and McLeod saying, Daz makes an excellent point. Clearer territory terrain and some more intuitive research and development would do this game no end of good. Yeah, well, hopefully that mod, you can see there, without, there's no guesswork here about what the terrain is doing, and I like that a lot. As I sort of zoom back out, I made it so that it's stronger as you zoom out. So you can see there, these are all low mountains in through this other side. We've got very high sand dunes there, which makes this very difficult to cross as well. So the overall planet, what it does do is it does show you the avenues. This is a big area that would be great for tanks. This would be a terrible area for tanks through here. And so you can see there the choke points. These mountains go all right up to the actual lava itself. And so you've got like small areas that you can sort of operate in. This is where the actual war game aspect of the game is just awesome. And the fact that it's all random is just incredible. Like even across here, like this would be a way that you'd be wanting to attack, from where we are, to attack across to here, for example, would be great. Except that you've then got to bounce your way through these areas here with essentially the rivers of lava. And so it becomes, and operating in the mountains here would be completely debilitating for anything other than just infantry. So you still have an infantry force to stop any sort of anything sort of getting through the mountains. But really, you'd be needing to put all of your attack into a very, very narrow area until it opens up into here. But even then, it's still narrow. So yeah, it's really awesome. The game is just like all the thinking and that goes into it. It's just like because the planets are random and they make sense as well. Like they're not just random tile placement. They're actually built using the planetology. It's a very fascinating game. Like incredible, actually. Okay, where did we go? So, hi Dom UK, how you going? So McLeod is in saying Daz makes sense. Yeah, so that would be good. Hugh Davis saying hi as well. Cassius is saying as great as Sherry Empire is, it does have UI problems. It does indeed. It does indeed. And you often find that with the sort of like single developer type games. Sorry, I've just missed a lot of stuff through here. God, I've missed a lot here. Sorry, guys. God, I've missed a heap. Oh my God! I thought it didn't highlight for me. I'm gonna have to skip over things. I think I thought, oh good, there's not that too much chat. It's not too much I've got to try to do. Okay, sorry, I'm back up to where I was, which is a long way off. I might as well open this up and we'll just go through and talk about the different bits and pieces. So if I skip over something that you've said and you want to grab my attention, do an @DazTactic, but I am way up here. So William's saying it's easy, I was able to do it. Yeah, there we go. So Jura saying I immediately clicked when I saw New Shadow Empire DLC. This is exciting. Yeah, so we haven't even had a look at this yet. We'll have a look at this in just a minute. Yeah, Mate 4, that was of course Scale Civ 4. Shadow Empire for the win, says Sebdos. Yeah, it's a great game. Shadow Empire DLC, yes, Republica is coming. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. Kay Shizzle saying updates to the government system of Shadow Empire. Yep, ability to pass laws and such. So it's going to become more. Like I think it sets up the whole next big area, and we'll have a look not just at what's on Steam, but we'll also go and have a look at the roadmap for the game, because in there I think that will then put into perspective what Republica actually is and where it sits. Now there was this was message deleted from Highly Educated Trucker. I'm sorry, actually, what is it? I apologise. I don't know why Nightbot does this. I've got Nightbot running because that's how we run the giveaways. I'll just go back and open these up. So I'm not sure why it did that. I'm sorry, Highly Educated Trucker. Just go and click up there somewhere. There we go. So Highly Educated Trucker saying, says this is a space 4x or a 4x on a randomly generated planet. It's a 4x on a. It's not even a 4x. I mean, it sort of is. But it's essentially a war game on a random, and it's a procedurally generated, not just random. It's actually procedurally generated based on real planetology, and so everything makes sense. And like I could go through. I probably will do that another time. Is go through just how intricate the world creation is. Like it actually. Like even sort of everything sort of makes sense when the world is created. Like it's just incredible. Like if you like the way that Dwarf Fortress creates worlds, like where it's where the rivers run from high points to into oceans, and so this is what this game does as well. And so the everything makes sense with the game. It's like the way it sort of does work, which is just awesome. So, or is it a hex encounter game? Which it looks like yes. So it's a hex encounter for the war game aspect, but it's not just you still have to develop your empire. So there is actually 4x elements to it as well. You do need to expand. You need to explore, and you need to exploit, and you need to exterminate at times as well. So you can play diplomatically as well. So it's sort of. the hybrid between wargame and role play and sort of like the city building aspect is also interesting. Like it's got a lot of that into there as well. And I will just go through each of these. All three, yes, pretty much. The one thing it doesn't have is moving from planet to planet. One thing I was really hoping for with the game was for it to have orbitals, and either satellite orbitals or actual space station orbitals that allowed you to ultimately interact with those and actually move. So, for example, on this world, it wouldn't it be really cool if there was like a small moon that you could end up getting to and exploiting the resources on that small moon and fighting on that as well. I just thought that would be a cool way of actually getting more of the space side of things. The whole premise of the game is essentially that there's been like a 200-year war that has completely destroyed humanity and civilization, and so you end up essentially on Mad Max worlds, and so the Galactic Republic has collapsed. There's still technology around from the Galactic Republic era, but nobody knows how to use it, and so that's essentially sort of what does go on there. Sorry, just keep on doing these. Trucker's saying that, boy, those are some delightfully low quality pieces of art. Love it. Yeah, it's all just done by a single developer, believe it or not. So I just click up through there. This one here reminds me of Jagged Alliance 2. Look, it's this is more like a war game. Like, it's funny because I see the game as as at its heart, you're building your forces to try to control a war game, whereas like I know, for example, battle mode, because he plays this game a lot as well, he will actually look at it as a more of a role play type game. So and you have all those aspects to it. So it's very, very cool. I'm sorry, highly educated trucker, about what Nightbot has done to your messages. Anyway, at least we can get and view them. So Muzzle Paint saying, "Behold the glory of Shadow Empire." It's a game that once you start playing it, you'll be absolutely blown away by what it can then go and do. This is why. This is why, because you did things in caps. And so that's what Nightbot's upset about. Okay, so there's Nightbot warning through there. Okay, so my humour thwarted by a dumb bot. Yes, well, we've undone the bot stuff. Thor was saying, "I like the way Paradoxes handle fleets in Hearts of Iron 4. I haven't played that for such a long time. Looks like Shadow Empire's made an effort to handle it differently." Well, yeah, I would love to see ships in the game. I would love it. Yeah, highly educated trucker saying, "Dad, being from Oz, would have no reason to know that Crimson Tide is a nickname given to the various athletic teams that represent the University of Alabama." Yeah, I had no idea. I've heard of a game called Crimson Tide, not that I remember it. Okay, so just keep on going back through there. Hi Drexy, how you going? Draco Strife saying, "Bring back the battleships." Well, in Advanced Tactics Gold, I loved that system of how you then did had to control the oceans. So I would be happy with that. Like if and that's Vic's previous game, or two previous to Shadow Empire. Highly educated trucker saying, "If you like Gladius, have you taken a look at Zephon? Same developers, same basic engine." Yes, I like it. I don't love it. I don't love it because it goes through a preset progression through the game itself, whereas I really like Gladius. I prefer Gladius to Zephon, actually, to be honest. I like what Zephon does, and I would love to see the innovations of Zephon into a Gladius too. I would love that. But one thing I don't like is just the way that you've essentially got like you track towards an end game in Zephon that I would prefer if it was just not there, to be honest. That's the only thing I don't like about Zephon, but everything else I really do like a lot. Andrew's Thetford saying, "Are you referring to Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri?" Yes, that was what we were talking about before. Shadow Empire DLC, POG, says Andre Extra Large. And I forget what POG stands for. Anyway. So I've been saying, the the one and only. There we are. And yep, so talking about Alpha Centauri again. Allegedly, Caleb, actually, and again, talking about like with Gladius, the prior game to Gladius was Pandora, and that was very much like a more combat-oriented Alpha Centauri. It was interesting game. Very old now, though. Okay, so allegedly Caleb Singh just got here. Can you repeat everything you've overviewed again? Just kidding. Looking forward to learning more about Republica DLC. We haven't even got that yet. Yeah, and saying Andre Extra Large saying hopefully it's better than Oceania. Yeah, so look, I think it's completely different. Oceania, I don't know why Oceania was released when it was released, because I think without naval units, even at the time I'm thinking, this is not a good idea. Like this is. Like not having control of your own navies. For me, it was like the idea was interesting. It was fleshed out. It had been worked out, except it didn't have navies in it. And so there was I guess from a design vision perspective of what the Oceania DLC did, it did give you oceanic worlds. It gave you an opportunity to move across islands. Gave you an opportunity to be able to send supply lines. It just didn't give you an opportunity to have combat on the oceans, and so that was the one thing that was missing. But that, for me, that's pretty important for me anyway. We'll have a look at the reviews for Oceania as well, and just to see what other people think. Yep, Andrew's then saying Alpha Centauri was so good. Honestly, I'd kill for a graphical update. Draco Strife saying, I know it's not Alpha Centauri, but what did you think of Civ Beyond Earth? Actually, yeah, that was another one that was similar. I didn't play much of it at all, to be honest. Like Alpha Centauri wasn't one of my favourite games. It just was, it was interesting, but I didn't love it. So so I never really went there. Highly educated trucker saying, I brought SMAC. What's that one? Deluxe from GOG last month. Had Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, and unfortunately only Alpha Centauri will run. There we are. So allegedly Caleb saying to Andre, what did people not like about Oceania? Feature incomplete with no navies. Exactly, that's exactly what it is. It was. From the design vision, it's complete, but not from a player perspective, because on Oceanic worlds, you're expecting navies, and having no navies is a problem. Constant naval invasions, yeah, I bought it anyway to support Vic, but I don't run the deal. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I tend to not play worlds where it's going to kick in, and so I very rarely generate an Oceanic world. And highly educated trucker saying, is this game basically a one-man show? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it is. Just one person developed it all and did a great job of it. And look, Vic's games, there was he started off with a game called People's Tactics, which was decades ago now, which was very cool. Like, as this is a free little game. In fact, we might have a look at these things in a minute. We'll go through the progression and how we got here, essentially. Ivan saying, it's going to be a fix for it somewhere on the internet, but it was a huge pain to get older games. Okay, that was actually talking about Alpha Centauri. I have it too, but only played around with it a bit. Thanks for the overview. Apparently a recent Windows 11 update broke it. I think you guys are still talking about Alpha Centauri. I'll just skip past all of that. Allegedly Caleb is saying it's strange that they didn't add navies to a DLC that's centered on the ocean. I think that Vic's perspective, like I know that because there's a fair few of us that were saying, this is without navies, it's just not going to be great. But having said that, there was I know in the sort of like the discussions around the navies with different people, and for example, like Tortuga Power. Plays a lot of naval type games, and he and I have very different views on what should happen with the navies in the game. I don't know where Tortuga is now with in regards the perspective of essentially the maritime trade houses and how they work. But Tortuga was thinking that navies should be zonal abstracts, whereas I felt that they should be individual ships personally. So that even amongst like players who play the game, a lot, and Tortuga back in those days, was playing the game an awful amount. I know that he still wanted navies, but he wanted it done a different way. And Vic was really in two minds as to what he should do with it as well. So it's been a problem. I think that Vic has had on the back burner for a long period of time. So he's not doing it. He wants to do it right, and that's the difference. But it's just, I wish it was here already, personally. But having said that, and I really respect what Tortuga Power, his perspective on games. Like he's got a very, particularly when it comes to naval games, like he really does know his stuff in that sense. So, I was, as I said before, I was happy with something that was going to be like Advanced Tactics Gold, which is one of Vic's earlier games. But Tortuga was also thinking, no, it's got to be there, but done in a different way. And so there's a lot going on. All right, so let's continue on. What did we get up to? I've tried a few runs on Oceania features, but it's more frustrating, says Andre, than the little you get from the trade houses. Yes, I agree. Agree 100%. 100%. So Ivan Primus in saying to highly educated truck, that's why I'm staying on 10. Probably, that's to make Windows. Highly educated trucker saying this is probably my last Windows computer. My next laptop will almost certainly run some flavour of Linux. Okay, so Draco Strife saying, I've never actually heard of Pandora before. Might have to check that one out. It's an old game now. I wouldn't recommend it. It was extremely difficult. Like if you've played Gladius in the early days, Gladius was very, very hard. It was harder than what it is now, and in the sense that if you played it on easy, you were actually playing on hard. You had to go and play on beginner to actually play on normal. They did fix that eventually, and sort of and made it so that you could play Gladius. But Pandora was like Gladius on steroids, essentially, in terms of the complexity and just how difficult it was to actually play. It's an interesting sort of story. There was after Pandora had finished its development, and they were then working on the dev team was then working on Gladius, a modder called Aches, I think, I forget the modder's name, actually ended up starting to build mods for Pandora, and then started to he then got the devs then gave him the ability to look at the code and actually make mods that would then affect the code, and he actually completely redid the way that the AI worked in Pandora. And so he then got employed by the development company to then work a bit on Gladius as well. So he actually sort of had like a lot of input into why, he's an incredible modder, because what he ended up doing with Pandora and then with Gladius was make it feel like you're playing against a human player with the way that he then structured portions of the AI. So yeah, it's interesting just the way it sort of does work. Andre is saying, I always die immediately on Cerberus starts. I don't know if it's my RNG, but no ice or water at the beginning. Yeah, it's the ice and water is the hard thing, and no prospect of getting it. It's very, very, you have to end up with wind traps to be able to ultimately survive on a Cerberus world, on a lava world like this. It is doable, but it's hard. So Drexy's then sort of saying there's a War Games sale starts today on Steam. I'll have to have a look at that. Okay, that's another thing we'll need to get and have a look at. I'll skip past the Microsoft things. Shadow of Empires was a great idea, but it's very disappointing gameplay with all those stupid cards, says Iviome. This is actually a complaint that people have had since the start. And I don't know if you've played it recently, but there's with the cards, the card system in the game, like so the strat cards, this has been addressed. So maybe have a look at it. If you haven't played it for a while, have a look at it again, because I think the cards now, I notice that they're not as prevalent everywhere, but you also can sell them to get what you want. So there's actually now a system. I'll just move this off the way, and I'll just show you what I mean. If I go into the strat cards, we don't have very many in through here, but I can go and go to scrap mode, which actually then allows me, if I know I don't want this card, or where's one with a few, we've got these in through here, for example. So if I really wanted to get something, I can go into scrap mode in through here, and I can then get scrap points. So if I go and scrap that one, that one, that one, that one, That one's only, these are only like low level ones. There's a 3 there, 3 there, 2 there. I've got 15 scrap points. From that, I can then go and craft what I want. And so I can go and craft stratagems. So I can go into this one through here. And so a new stratagem has been crafted. It's still it's still random with what it does actually do, but what it does do is it sort of will give me other benefits. And so this is Democratic Artisans construct a private hospital. If played, democracy also goes up by +4. But you can get different units. So I'll just click on OK. Go back into scrap mode again. There's only one scrap point for that one. I sort of screwed this one up really. But if I go into nation. Yeah, I need 16 SP scrap points to be able to do that one. But you do actually now have other strategies you can actually now use to help with that. It was a concern for players. So I'll just go back out again and grab that. So Heidi Trucker saying gaming and inertia has kept me on Windows for a long time. There we are. Yep. And so why do you feel cards are stupid? Well, they were. In the early days, there was way too many of them. You couldn't really make good use of them. So with having the scrap system now, it does allow you to do it. Mr. Feebles Masterclass is saying, Evium, I sort of agree. I have trouble with the user interface. So I've played maybe 200 hours and still have to relearn so much every time I come back to it. And I'm sure I haven't learned everything yet. So Highly Educated Truck saying, I'm getting Dwarf Fortress meets Aurora 4X vibes from this game. It's look, if you, I'll show you how to play this one. If you're new to the game, I'll show you how to play it. Very, very briefly. I won't go through the nitty gritty, but don't play this sort of world. Don't use the DLC like at this stage. Just go to start new game. The one that you want, the game that you want, is one with lots of water, lots of life, like there's in trees, things like that. So the easiest planet to play is a Siwa class, which is an Earth-like. And so you just go and continue. I'll just go see how Oceanic DLCs can't be on this one. I'll just go with this one on full. When it comes through, it will always, the temperature should be around about 15 degrees, which is what the average on Earth is. The planetary age also then impacts what sort of life you're going to get. So I'll just go continue. You can always re-roll these as you go through. Getting sentient life is shouldn't really be a goal. When you're first starting to play, you're more wanting to just, like, you are on these worlds, you are going to be facing aliens, but if they're just creatures, it's certainly much easier. Let's just go continue through there. By the way, that's probably too many mountains. I would try to keep that one down fairly low. You can see we've got jungles, we've got forests, we've got hills with forests, and so on and so forth. This is good. We don't actually have any sentient life forms. I would just keep on re-rolling. Like if I re-roll here, if we get sentient life forms, just keep on re-rolling it. In fact, we're probably not going to be able to get sentient life forms here. There we go. Actually, this has got 0. In fact, this has got no life on it at all. This has got argon as the main atmosphere. I'll just re-roll again. So you do want to, if you have life, I'll just keep on. Yeah, this one does have like a small aquatic herbivore. So we do actually have some life, and that will be enough to give you fuel. So there will be fuel deposits. I'll just go and re-roll again. So and if you go with none, it just like this here will then sort of have again more type of trees and this one has now got mini ball sapiens, which is these will then make the game more difficult for you if you are playing. But this will then be these will be. I'll show you with them on, but you want to keep on rolling these until you don't have them anymore. So just go continue, but there's no hazards here for human, not that it really matters that much. Colonization, and one thing we'll notice is if I just click on the random down through there, so this is actually what's been colonized. We've got a farming colony, mining colony, farming colony. So this is actually in the early phase of the game. So this is actually when the Galactic Republic is at its peak. This is all farmlands that have been created, for example, down through here. Well, this is all farmland through here as well. So the humans that came here and colonized it have made a lot of farms. They've made sort of like services type cities back and through here. These are all the various. I wish that there was a way of it saving this map, because it's interesting to sort of see what happens with the ruins. But in this case, we've got mainly farming that's actually going back on. If I then just go continue, so this is actually this is at the height of the Galactic Republic. And then we have the Dissolution War that goes for about 200 years. So there's 600 years of colonization on the world, which then created all this farming land. And then we have the apocalypse. We're down to 2.9 million. You can see most of them are going to be farmers and scavengers. And this is actually what you're looking for an easy-ish game, is to not have too many raiders. You want as many farmers as you can get, because they're easier to deal with. You saw there even with the mix of what they ended up having. If I just go continue and then start the game. In this case, we have left on the aliens, and I'll show you them as well. It's the scope of what you can set up in this game is unbelievably broad. I'll just go and click on that one. I won't bother click. I'll just click on A just to get it started. They sort of set up your initial abilities. Highlight that one through there. Dismiss that. So you can see through here, in this case, we're sort of playing with forests, and we will sort of see in around here, this is like the farming land in here has collapsed down to this little area, but it's still farming land. So they've still got farms in that area through there. But these become much easier to play with. They've got farms in around where they are. We don't have any farms where we are, so we're not really using farms. There's deserts out this way, but we'll find that this one over through here has got like a lot of farmland in here as well. I'll just go and just chop through the and then resign. And just go to our secretary and just end the turn. And we'll find the aliens. The aliens come in 3 flavors, like sort of advanced, medium, and sort of like, you know, caveman type aliens. And when you play with sentient aliens on, so just be aware of that. So they can become quite tricky. Like that's a group that's coming out of this area down through there. So you can see down through here, this one looks like a trucker group. These are roaders. Again, they don't actually have a city. I'll just see if I can find aliens somewhere. I mean, these are just creatures. That particular group is a mini ball screamer. So this is actually a different type of alien that's, again, randomly generated. More alien forces down through there, but these are not sentient aliens. So these would sort of be aliens that would come wander into your territories. You can see how different it all is. It's very, very different. These will be the sentient aliens, I'm guessing. So this is non-aligned forces. Actually, no, it's not. These are still just non-aligned forces. I'm trying to find the sentient aliens. Where are they? Not seeing them around here at all. If I can spot them. There they are. So we've got a group of aliens in through here. So this is a territory. These are vermoids, which is a minor regime, but these will ultimately be, these are alien forces. These are vermoid soldiers. They've also got these soldiers as well. They've got screamers that are coming with them. So and these are possibly, if we have a look at these in through here, land-dwelling 4-meter carnivore is the group itself. Intelligent and sentient species able to coordinate multiple units. These group have good tech and is using rifles of their own design. Some of them will actually use laser rifles, which are more advanced. So this is one of the medium guys, but they come in with they've got their own like group as well. So the screamer group will be a land-dwelling, very large 10-meter carnivore. And so these come in almost as sort of like cavalry, extremely strong. So this is why you really don't want to be going up against aliens. You can end up with weak ones, but in this case we've got like a very, very strong group that's sort of operating on the actual game itself. There will be others as well, like there'll be more of them around if we can find them. So they're sort of living on the same planet as you. This is a group of sentinels. So this is actually a surviving AI. So an AI has sort of settled into here with its with different groups of sentinels, which will then control this region. There's another group in through here. Just see what sort of weaponry these have got. So this has some tech and is using improvised or brought or captured human rifles. And so even though they're very, very powerful, these are low level, low tech aliens in through that side. In fact, even these ones in through here, again, these are still going to be extremely strong. These are the screamers that they're using, again, which were randomly generated on the planet, are basically just beasts that they've got that fight for them. And they come in with 600 of those with some vermoids as the actual sentient group back in through there as well. More rotors. See if I can find... Oh, here we go. Here's another group. This one looks like it's got laser weaponry. So this will be another different type. You can see there actually, or that one or this one. These here have got... has good tech. So that's sort of, that's got medium tech. These look like these are the advanced ones. Some impressive tech, and are using good rifles of their own design. So these are actually much, much stronger. So these are the sorts of aliens that you have to go and deal with. So yeah, there's a whole lot of aliens in through this other area, in through here. So just smallish groups that are sort of have been set up in through this region. But these guys have got like the very, very high tech. Very, very hard to deal with these. This is why don't go looking for planets with sentient aliens. I know everyone does at the start, but it makes your life so much more difficult. But the thing you'll find with a Sewa class world typically is you're going to end up like, first of all, they've got there'll be farms and farmland, and farmland is actually like agricultural. There's you've got a little bit more entrenchment with that one. It's very similar to plains, so it doesn't sort of really impact you all that much. But you'll find that most of the actual groups will be like Republicans. They'll be friendly, and so you can sort of play more of a diplomatic game if you wanted to play it. So it is easier. Farmers, so most of the actual groups you end up with are going to be friendly. It makes the game so much easier. But just be aware that don't go looking for sentient aliens. It's not going to make it easy for you. So what are these guys? These are confeds again as well. They're going to be friendly. Or they can be friendly. Confeds up through there. Again, we did have rotors down there, which is a problem. Looks like rotors over here somewhere as well. Guardians back down there, which could be friendly. Rotors there, which would be a problem. So just picking the different types of planets, and also on a planet with life, you are then going to find oil deposits. If I just press number 1, you'll sort of find that there'll be lots of life, so there'll be lots of biofuel, and so this is actually like a fuel source back in through there. And water. Water is going to be prevalent. You're going to get a lot of water through rivers. So you can see the rivers running through from the mountains. Will sort of run down through. They become very, very thick, large rivers. So, for example, these are just streams up near where we are. So we've just got like smallish streams. If I just go back into here, you'll see the river crossings there. -15, -25, etc. But if we look at the infantry, -15. If I have a look at, for example, this region in here where we've got like big rivers that are running through it in this jungle, you can see there the river crossings there are very, very different. And you'll see there that the river's presence, large rivers to the north, northeast, southwest, and northwest. That's sort of up in this region when I hover over it. So it shows you again where the difficulty can be. Like this is actually an island, which is going to be completely surrounded. It's got extra large rivers to the north, northeast, so it goes even larger again. And you can see there that river crossing sort of is showing that for the extra large rivers, there's -60% to be able to attack across them. So rivers become really important. And so when you've got such a wet world as this, defense is very, very easy, like particularly through this region through here. Look at this. Like no one's going to be able to get through that jungle. Like if you set up on that big river there, the defense it goes all the way through, like it's actually this is like almost like a jungly swamp, the way it's sort of been set up. Plus in jungle, you've then got incredible defense. Maximum entrenchments there of 200 for infantry. Tanks attack at -80%. So extremely defensive. Then you've got the similar thing with the actual river crossing. So you've got extra large, mediums, and small rivers all running through the same region. So it's a great game, like in terms of just the overall strategy of how to play it. Anyway, let's close this off. I could get lost in doing this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit out of that so we don't have it open anymore. But we'll bring this one back on just so we can sort of still work our way through. But that's but play on a Siva class world. Don't play with sentient life forms. Just keep on re-rolling that one so you're not actually getting the sentient life forms, and you should be okay. I think, like in that sense, to learn the game. Forests can be frustrating because of the tanks don't do well in them, but but at least you'll be able to defend. Use diplomacy on the minor factions. Just get used to using the different councils that you'll end up bringing in as well. The different people. And just take it easy, take it slowly. But it's a great game. It's certainly worth the effort, in my opinion, anyway. Okay, where did we get up to? So Mr. Vasquez saying there's something that could never be refined. A bit about the card play. I often have a ton of cards I would never use that just accumulate. Sell them off, scrap them. Go to the scrap mode. It's actually what the scrap mode can give you opportunities, and every time you build one in, like it starts off at 15, then 16, then 17. So it does cost a bit to get the cards that you do get back, but you can get some pretty exceptional cards back from it, and they'll always be a bit nuanced, with different things as well. So Harley Trucker saying Daz ought to give Aurora 4X a shot. I have played it. I haven't recorded it though. I like the idea of it, but I like the idea more of playing it with a random start rather than playing it with Earth. And with that in mind, I actually was I really wanted to play with a binary system, but I never got around to recording it. With Legal's math class, so maybe some way of cashing them for political points or something. Actually, that'd be good. So Andre is saying, I love the idea of Aurora, but my brain is too small. Yep. So Jazz is then sort of saying about the scrap cards, which you can really sort of hone down the cards that you have, and you can ultimately end up with some pretty exceptional cards. So Mr. Flegel's mask class saying, what? How did I miss that? There we are. So on the sorry guys, I'm just keeps on skipping ahead. Where do we get up to? Where did we get to? Jeez. Yeah, so we got to here. Right. Sorry about this. Like the chat is running away from me. So Andre is saying it's better to leave them rather than scrap. The game will waste time regenerating the ones you don't want. Look, you'll be able to. It's the cards you get back when you're in the scrap mode that are good. Andre is saying if you've maxed out on the garbage ones, you won't get them again. You also, depending on what councils you bring in, you'll get different. That will also give you different odds for getting cards. So you can sort of push what type of cards you get as well through the game itself. So you can also manipulate that. Where do we get up to? Okay, so if you keep on getting garbage ones, you also just keep on scrapping them and make new cards. Yes, that's right. Better luck just leaving them at max and not generating them. I think getting the new cards you can get some really good cards. Navy would be awesome, says Jatsy. Yeah, Navy. I would wish that was really where the focus was at this stage with the game, but it's not. So C. Sanderson, going to check out the Zephon DLC. I don't know the Zephon DLC. I'll have to have a look at that one. Allegedly, Caleb saying the tutorial series really helped me learn the game. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I've really put a lot of effort into that because it was. I know how difficult the game actually is, and so I really tried to find a way that would actually be able to very quickly give information, but still go through in a lot of detail if people wanted the detail. Hi Dom UK. I thought we already said hi to you. I'm sure we did. Way up here somewhere, didn't we? Or did it maybe just appeared? I might have said it when I saw you come in. Sorry about that. Andre is saying science fiction war game with complex random planet generation. Yeah, pretty much. Being oppressed by bots says. Yeah. Anyway, we've got you sorted now. Diplo players for weaklings, says Andre. Yeah, I actually play aggressively in the game. I tend to not play diplomatically. And allegedly Caleb saying, why play diplomatically when the wargame aspects of the game is the most fun? It is, but it still gives new players a chance to be able to surround themselves with friendly forces where they can protect their borders and then just go off in one direction. So I can see why someone learning the game would be wanting to play that way. I again personally like to have it as aggressive as possible, but for a new player, I think that's you can play diplomatically and can play very effectively that way. Just saying satellite stuff would be really fun. Yeah, it would be cool, wouldn't it, to be able to like if there was like a space elevator or something. If you captured it, it then took you to another whole other area that you could then sort of go and fight over. Like if there was different ways of you'd be able to do all sorts of things like that. You'd be able to have like Dyson spheres that you end up sort of fighting it in like some sort of orbital area or like a ring that you then sort of fought like a very, very narrow band that was set up. But anyway, that's sort of beside the point. Late game tech to go into space, says Jatsy. Yeah, that would be great. It would open up to orbitals or dual orbiting planets as well. Yeah, I would love that, like in the game. Andre is then sort of saying if they added a space layer with planetary conquest, space battles, logistics with the Emperor of the Fading Suns, this would be the greatest war game ever made. Yeah, it'd be cool, wouldn't it? I don't think that's not on the cards, by the way. It's just something I would love to see in the game. Paratroopers would be cool too, since we have Navy and transport aircraft. We sort of do have them. Advanced Tactics Skulls has them, says Jatsy. Yes, it does. But we sort of have airdrops, but it's I never use them because they're not easy to use. They're not good to use. Space drop like BattleTech, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, BattleTech's such a great game. That too, and space planes, yes, that would be cool. Oceania might have been decent if you got the aquatic gameplay in addition to the units. It makes your Civ possibly aquatic. Yeah, that's interesting as well. I mean, it's different. Like you only play for players humans when you're playing Shadow Empire, so it wouldn't really work in that sense. But it would be interesting to have sentients that were aquatic that you could then sort of interact with. Sentients, if you befriend sentients on those worlds, they can give you mercenaries, and that they can be extremely powerful on different planets. So you end up with like alien forces that are part of your group as mercenaries. Andre Extra Large is saying just the way to combat the constant alien naval invasions rather than just stationing units to react on the coast. Yeah, for me, just naval units is what I really want. Then we talking about Linux. Drex is saying, I guess I'm weird. I like Oceania. It works in multiplayer games. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't play multiplayer in pretty much any game, to be honest. And George is saying good news with navies is Vic is open to feedback. Absolutely, and I know he knows he has to do it at some point. He's just but he's just trying to find the best way of doing it, and so it's not off the table at all. Like in fact, I'm pretty sure it's something like that he does need, and he knows he needs to get onto it at some point. It's just when, and he's got to solve that problem, I think. So zonal abstracted navy would be okay as long as we get to design the ships, kind of like Hearts of Iron 4. But I prefer individual ships. I prefer individual ships as well, or even abstracted but then combat, like done in a. I don't know. It's hard because the combat would still be turn-based, so that would be a bit tricky. Allegedly Caleb saying Vic did Advanced Tactics Gold. I had no idea. Yes, you can definitely see the progression towards Shadow Empire with all the games. The way that they were, like he's got decisive campaigns as well. Which when you play decisive campaigns, you're essentially playing Advanced Tactics Gold, but with cards as well, and so you end up with getting a little bit extra. And decisive campaigns is really, really good. That's based around World War II, and then after that came Shadow Empire, which is just cool. Hugh David saying Zephon is a good game, and they have their roadmap with a path for things to come, which will make it even better. Yeah, that'd be great actually, and particularly if I think that means you've retracted it, so I don't think I can click on that one. Have you found a reliable way to segregate different medium tank models into different formation types? It'd be nice to avoid mixing howitzer and high velocity designs. the only way I do it is you've got 2 extra slots, so I tend to be mixing a couple of medium tanks in with light tanks, just through the actual unit creation. Drex is saying Ruler Waves 2 has a remaster out with dark mode. Yes, we covered that last week, I think. Pretty sure we had a look at that one last week. That was Ruler Waves 3, isn't it? Yeah, Ruler Waves 3, which isn't out yet. Yeah, Jesse's saying you Ruler Waves 3, but yeah, got to check out that later too. Is it out now, is it? Has it just come out? All right, let's open her up. It's updating. Oh, this is good. This is cool. Let's have a look at this one. Play. This would be too much. Ruler Waves 3 for now. I guess if we just go to a new game. If we just go continue. This is the crappiest looking game ever made, I reckon. It's like in terms of looks, but it actually plays extremely well. Where is the preferences? There we are. There's dark mode. I'm not seeing it there. I'll cancel that one. Maybe you got to do it before you start playing. That preferences. They were inside the actual area. I'll just go back out. Start again. Let's minimize that for a second. Sorry, we're deviating off. I'll come back to Republica in just a minute. It's got to be in here. This, you sort of start at different time frames. I wonder where it is. No, there's nothing through there. Generating the initial fleets. I wonder where it's got to. Alright, so it's made fleets for us. It's got to be. It's not there. Preferences. I'm not seeing that dark mode. Did it come out today? Oh, sound video. Here we go. Interface, dark slate. Hey, there we are. There we are. Cool. Welcome to the early 2000s. We've gone from 1993 to 2002 now. That does look better though. It looks a lot better. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's good. So that was under preferences. And what's carbon? Carbon's always feels good. That's a bit more dark. I actually prefer the bottom one, to be honest. I think I like that one better. Preferences. Iceberg will be pale. Yep. Still better than the original, which was just standard old crappy stuff. But I like dark slate. It's got that sort of cold feel about it in the grey. So it's not a warm grey. Carbon is more of a warm grey, but this is actually good, and it looks great. So yeah. So this is, what's the map look like? The map's still very, very light with what's actually happening there. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Anyway, let's leave that, and but that's great. Thanks for that, Drexy. So yeah. So anyway, where did we get to? So Daz falls for the bait. What was that one? That was where are we? Yeah, he has the best tutorials, says Muzzle Paint. Thanks for that one. Andre is saying, I've taught people the basics. I've a lot to respect for dads and others who do full tutorials. Yeah, look, it's I enjoy doing it, to be honest. It's sort of it's good fun. I love these kind of super robust world generation engines. I might buy this game just yeah. Look, I get lost in that. It's something that I used to love about Europa Universalis 1 and 2 had a system similar but with history, where you could actually sort of go to any point in the history of the game and generate a game from that. I used to love that because it would generate the actual interplay between the different factions. But then with Dwarf Fortress, I just loved what it did with the actual with the planetary generating a world. It becomes sort of very, very real. And then Shadow Empire, I think for me it is actually Dwarf Fortress and Shadow Empire, the only two games that really take it to the extreme. And so the Planet and when Shadow Empire first came out, I was sort of wondering why. I wonder why Vic spent so much time on the actual. I'm glad he did, but it was sort of surprising at just how much was actually done with the planetary generation. I know, again, because I was part of the early betas and stuff for Shadow Empire. When I heard it was coming, I just had to get into it, and it was because I just love these sorts of games, and so like seeing his approach with that, like in any suggested change had to come back to what would really happen, and so it was all like it was very, very much based on real planetology, which was very, very interesting. Like the fact that he had to then go and learn all that to then be able to build planets, to then be able to have a war game play on it. I just find that fascinating. Like it's so I find playing on the worlds that it generates so interesting, because I know that it's not just random tiles. It's not just sort of like something that's just been sort of abstracted. It actually has been built, like how hot is the planet? What's it going to do? What's the angle of rotation of the planet? What's it going to do to the seasons? The seasons kick in as well when you're playing. Is it going to have snow during the winters or not? And all of that is put into the actual game itself. It's incredibly detailed with Shadow Empire. And highly educated trucker saying, yeah, there's a new DLC. I'll have to check that one out. I haven't heard that one. I'll have to. Quite often the devs contact me from Zephon. I'll have to go and contact them. I didn't cover Zephon much, so they may have thought I didn't like the game, which is not the case. But anyway, I'll see what that new DLC is. Another benefit for planets with trees and tech 3 stars is you can burn the trees. Yeah, you've got different ways of generating power in the game as well. And if you've got lots of trees, you can actually set up these sort of like these logging areas. I forget what they're called, but they can generate energy for you. So highly educated wrestling. Looks like someone said, what if RimWorld but 4x? Yeah, RimWorld is RimWorld doesn't have anywhere near the degree of planetary generation as this does. RimWorld is one of those ones that just has like a random collection on the actual on the maps. Great game, but it doesn't actually go through the nitty gritty of like what this game does. So Tenor is saying, hey dads, when is the Shadow Empire DLC releasing? I'm not sure actually. We'll see if we can have a bit of a look at that one. Highly educated trucker saying, can't even begin to tell you how much I love that artwork. It's a labour of love from a man who has an art budget of maybe $400. Yeah, he did have somebody help him with the art. So he sort of like there has been people sort of working on the art for him, and he also even with the people, like the actual people, they've been changed recently, and they look pretty cool the way that they're sort of auto-generated as well. There's also mods around, and I am playing with one mod by Pymus, who does maps for Dominions. He also has done where he's completely redone the art for a lot of the cards as well. So there's actually, and they're very, very good. So that there's some good assets around. Speed things up. I'm going to work soon, says Drexy. I'll pop you in the run, in the marble run. So Andre's saying, I can't stand the artwork personally. But it is what it is. I use mods for the video comms and card art. Yeah, that'd be Primus's mod, I would assume. Shadow Empire DLC got my attention even while at work. There we are, says Scott. And hi Ned, how you going? So no play Aurora and join my multiplayer game. Need more people. No, I don't know if I'll ever get back to Aurora. To be honest, there's just too many other good games out. Black Laser saying so with the DLC, I read about it and saw that there are going to be some feudal zones. with their own armies. Does this mean that they'll be controlled by the AI? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that will then go and work. So yeah, like I'm saying, I'm always fascinated by that custom desktop interface. This is Fences by Stardock, who do Gale Civ. So I've used this for years. It's really, really cool. I love it. It's funny because it doesn't rate very highly, but I really like it a lot. It's the first thing I install whenever I get a new computer. So Dom, you're asking, hi Daz, you saw my first one and then scroll. Oh, okay, I scrolled up, right. So Frank is saying, wish he would add that prisoner of war system he was talking about as well. Yes, that would be good as well. So Jatsy's saying on Tortuga's Discord, someone posts a roadmap that has Navy on it after this Republica DLC. Yeah, we'll have a look at the roadmap. That's actually, I know where that is, so I can actually go and grab that one. Now, where do we get to? Rule of Waves 3 UI looks like a Rule of 4X. Yeah, very, very much. Again, it's a great, great game. Zephyr is saying, do you know if there's a way to skip the launcher with Shadow Empire? Just by pressing escape, I think, as it starts. Is really the only way, I think. Oh, hang on. Dave's saying preferences, sound and video. Okay, there we go. This interface is taking me back to Windows 95. Yes, I know. Talking about well, Rule of Waves 3 as well as the others. But yeah, it is 90. It's Windows 93 or Windows 95 or whatever it is. Yeah, it's very much looks like that. And Siobhan is saying LMAO. Battleship Grey, that's what it should have been called, shouldn't it? I see Sins 2 on your desktop. They're having a sale. Yes, 75% off for Sins. We'll get through all those eventually. It's going to be a long one, guys. It's going to be a long one. Need more rivers. Yep. Well, you can see there with the rivers, depending on what world you generate, depending on the hydrology or hydrography or whatever it is of the actual planet, the rainfall will dictate a lot about what happens with rivers when it gets generated. So Jatsy's saying, I've played on a few maps with decent amounts of water and there's very few rivers. It comes down to rainfall. That comes down to wind, and that comes down to the rotation. Everything is modelled. So you saw in that planet that we generated, there was sections there where there was rivers everywhere. So Shravana saying, any good recommendations for graphics mods? Yeah, Pymus is the one. Pymus is the one. So that's going to then sort of that will then change your card graphics. So and Pymus I think also uses coffee.com I think for his. I may be wrong about that actually, but if you have a look at the forums, you'll find Pymus has done a great job of his graphic cards. It's only for the cards and video comms. Yeah, I use the one for the roads and terrain as well, but I forget the author. That's M. Royer that we saw there before. So when I was showing the coffee.com page, again, I'll just show that. Should still be here. No, I got rid of it. So if you get marks, if you go to the forums, the Matrix forums, this is where you'll find. I think this is probably the best way to find what you need. And then go to Shadow Empire. And then if you go to mods, I think mods are in their own area. Is it? Actually, I don't know where it is. I've been here for a long time. War room. Graphic mods, there we are. And then you'll find there's Pymus's Shadow Stratagems art pack. There'll be, there we go, that's the terrain mod. So this is M. Royer with his terrain mod. And so that's my icon overlays in that one as well. Pymus's Shadow Empire VidCon pack. So you'll find different mod packs in through here. One thing I haven't checked out though is if Mark has actually sort of redone his. I don't want to look because if he has, I'm going to have to redo mine. I don't want to just yet. But anyway, there's an Emperor of the Fading Suns mod. No idea what that is. Anyway, there's different things in through there. There's mine again down this way with the terrain icons mod. So that's the one that I tend to use a lot. Anyway, there's different mods in through there that you can then just go and find where they actually are. But Pymus is mod pack is very, very cool. Just the way that he's sort of done all the graphics. So he's sort of gone through the whole card pack, and yeah, he's got a coffee.com link through there as well. So Pymus has got his there. So yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff in with this. So anyway, that's the different mod packs for that one. I'll leave this open because what we'll do is we'll now just go through and have a look. So we've now absolutely scanned the Oceania DLC. Let's just see how Oceania, oh, there we go, War Games Fest. We'll have to have a look at all this, won't we? So it's mostly positive. 77%. I find that high, to be honest, for what for not having navies in it. But I think if we go and have a look at Community Hub, I think it'll just take us straight back to Shadow Empire. Yeah, it does. Yeah, let's not look for the navy information there. We're not going to find it. If we have a look at the Republica side of things, so this is actually still talking about the what you do go and get. You've got the different planet classes, maritime trade houses, yeah, naval logistic points, which are all sort of stuff that you then sort of have to control, but you don't actually have navies as such. Is the one thing that's the problem. Let's look at Republica. So actually, while we do that, let's go across. You know, what's Vic's? I always forget what his. What's it called? VC Designs, is it? VR Designs. Yeah, there it is. This is probably the one. This is Design Snippets 31. This was in 2022. That was actually where that was coming through. Tactics Phoenix, yeah. I'll just go back out to the Shadow Empire series. See if I can find it there. Oh, it's not there. Where's the? It's not going to show us. Here we go. So this is in December. Future Navies poll. So if we have a look at these sorts of things, so this was actually where, so this was in December. So yes, this is really a premature question today. Note that I'm first finishing Republica DLC before I start on Militaria DLC, which will be the point where I will also attack the naval units. Also, I'm still not sure if those naval units will be included retroactively in Oceania DLC or become part of the Militaria DLC. So there will be a DLC following. Also note that any speculation on any future releases in any way is always shrouded in some uncertainty. So Vic's great and he does communicate what his thought process is, but he also, he has to sort of put in a disclaimer. I really... Like I like that he doesn't feel that he has to be too guarded about what his thoughts are. Anyway, I've previously said much better implementing those naval units as actual units with ship models designed and produced rather than as other models, but them not being hex based like all the other units in the game. They would be moved. They would be either moored in a specific port or active in a specific sea zone. Yeah, which is the way he wants to go, which is good. As a sea zone, but as maybe like 100 to 400 hexes, yeah. Now that there is much to be said for implementing those naval units with sea zones because it can better simulate, this is what his whole thought process has actually been. And so he was then wondering, so when in doubt, time for a quick question to the Shadow Empire players, what do you prefer? So should naval units be sea zone based or hex based? I didn't really care, as long as they were in. So I think I voted for hex based because that's sort of what I think I'd prefer that one, but sea zone based would be fine if you've actually got naval units. So so you can see there most of the votes sea zone based were the ones that actually did go through, and then different people then sort of commented on that. So that's that one. VR development update. This was in October. So it's been a little while since he's actually sort of done anything in here. But if we just go continue reading, I'll see if I can find the where he talks about what he's going to be doing. really quick shadow priority. Okay, let's have a look and see. You can see that he is, which feature addition should we have priority? Advanced politics, which is sort of where we're heading with the game. I just find that there is actually I know that there's a sketch of design plans. This will be the one. This is over a year ago now, but it's still, I think it still holds true. This is it here. So if we go and open this one up, this is the updated long-term sketch for Shadow Empire development. And so this is sort of where things were. So the Oceania DLC was introduced. Then the core engine work to the 1.25. It's called Hazards and Hardships with new leader portraits. All of these things have actually now been done. So there's more and more stuff that's sort of been added in. And then we've now got Republica. And so the minor culture variations, which is what we looked at before, is already in the game. This is now a year old. And so they've now, all of these different things will now sort of be getting ready to have, they'll be coming in with Republica. And I think we're going to get a better idea of what the scope of Republica is from this than the actual message about Republica, if that makes any sort of sense. So there's going to be a Virtus mechanic, apparatchik mechanic and laws for I don't know what these are, but this will be some sort of these probably be some political aspects. So yeah, advanced politics, planet variety. So ideally more exotic planets. So that would be cool. Advanced trade, so more items to integrate with the luxury consumption rules. So trading will then become more important. I'm guessing more on a planetary level rather than on a local level rather than a planetary level. At the moment, it's all very abstracted, so that's possibly going to be something a little bit more real. Stratagem diversity, so much more fate strats, but ideally semi-procedurally created ones, which would be cool. And critter fun, so horrors, hive species, etc., etc. So that's going to be interesting as well. So that's Republica in through there. Then we have the core engine work of 1.4, which is going to be Militaria. This will be another. It says core. That's DLC. This I think will be DLC. He's now mentioning as well. So Navy units would very probably work with some level of abstraction, but use existing combat and model systems. So we have to. He's really trying to figure out what to do there. Advanced military rules. So prisoner of wars. There they are. Guerrillas. But we need some unit feat management system as well. Feat is sort of like the additional stuff that gets added to units and stuff. So post-apocalyptic ambience reinforcement, probably in the direction of a tech level 0. So going from a very, very raw start, which would be interesting. And then we've got core engine work 1.5, graphics, UI, transparency, AI plays same rules. At the moment, there's some things where the AI doesn't play by the same rules, which is always contentious, but he's done it for a good reason. And then new game modes as well to be determined, but would tie into AI. He's then got Shadow Legion and Starfire, which we don't know what that is. So that's sort of either coming expansions to the game, or I don't know, who knows. So it's that I think is a good way of looking at what's going to happen with Republica. So it's official. 2 years after the release of Oceania, a new chapter is coming to the award-winning 4X war games Shadow Empire. So new political era. So it's the Republica DLC expands Shadow Empire's political systems, adding new layers of realism, challenge and replayability, manage social decay, pass laws, confront a paranoid computer, and navigating evolving forms of government. Now, to be honest, all of those things don't sound exciting to me, but this does, like, you know, what's actually happening in through here. So I think that, for me, that, like, the way that that's written, I'm thinking, that's just micromanagement. I don't think it will be. So I'm looking forward to it. Major addition is Virtus, a system that represents the collective will of society. Under its influence, democracies can decay into dysfunctional states, meritocracies into oligarchies, and autocracies into tyrannies. So that's going to be interesting. That will actually then change the, the structure of what happens in your empire. Players must confront this instability with careful strategy, political manoeuvring, and even radical actions like revolutions or adopting extreme governments such as aristocracy or fanatical autocracy. This is actually this sounds again like micromanagement, but I really don't think it will be. I think it will be just a way of you having, like, being able to push your empire into different ways when certain things start to develop, because the game can, depending on the characters that you end up with, it can be quite difficult managing their happiness, and I'm thinking that will be the interesting aspect here as to what will happen as you bring different groups into your empire. So the DLC also introduces political bodies that vote on laws, create unpredictable shifts in power. While laws can offer powerful benefits, they also come at a cost, forcing players to either adapt or resort to authoritarian control. So that'll be interesting as well. Again, I just hope it's not micromanagement. I don't want to have more things to learn in the game, but it would be interesting. So I want to learn more. Wish list of DLC now, and stay tuned for more updates. So. It's only so there we go. It's only 25% off to get the essentially at the same price. So 25% off to get the complete bundle. All right, so there's not a hell of a lot of information there with what there, but so that was on its way. What else can we look at there? Well, I think that's it's a pretty good overview, I guess, as to what is coming. I'll just go back to the. Just get rid of that now. And I'll just scroll through the rest of these. What did God? The chat really just runs away from me. I see. Yeah, so Andre's been talking about the Emroya one there through there. Cyberphilly saying, "Hey Dad, remember I've been recommending Neo Scavenger to you for a while. Do you have any plans to trying it out? It's right down your alley." I think I may have gotten that one. Actually, let me have a look. I think I had a look, and then I for whatever reason I didn't follow through, which could be just I ran out of time. I'll do a search. Yeah, I do have it there, but I don't have it installed. Oh, it's old. That's why. I didn't play it because it was old. Last played in 2014. So what's it like now? Very positive. So I played it when it first came out. I do vaguely remember playing it, but it was a long time ago, over 10 years ago now. So when was it? When was the last update? Yeah, I don't know. It's again. It looks very. It looks 10 years old. Let's go to the community hub. Yes, because it's so old, it's probably not something that I would really get into. It's yeah, I'm not sort of seeing maybe updates. News. Yes, I've seen astronauts as well. Yeah, no, it's too old, I think, for me to go back to. I think that might be the reason. Sorry. So that would be why. So where did we get to? Sorry, but yeah. So hi Kat, how you going? Leaving the like for ChatTactic today. Had bad case of allergies again. Almost died. Oh, that didn't sound good. What was that? Hang on, leaving a like. Bad case of allergies again, almost died. Wow, that sounds terrible. So Andre Extra Large is saying he does use coffee. I've seen him some money. Look, I really like. If you guys want the mods, just grab them. Seriously. Hi ZXM, how you going? Cat's saying, where do you find all those round eyeglasses that the evil people always have, like round eyeglasses? I've got no idea. Been a while since I played Shadow Empire. It does have victory conditions. They haven't changed much. It's still about trying to get the majority of the planet under your control. Hi Logan, how you going? And then Cat's saying, evil is always bad with beard and eyeglasses, but Daz is not. But in every movie or game is always bad with glasses and a beard. Yeah, that's so. They don't smile. I smile. Okay, Andre's saying, not that I know of Muppet, but just getting a certain amount of victory points. I usually like to call I'm going to have to go. So just saying, Daz needs more upvotes. Thanks for that. Geez, I certainly recall you can ignore the victory screen and keep playing, but it pops up each turn. Yeah, that can be a bit annoying, I guess. So Andre's saying, yeah, wait, I'm balding with a beard and glasses. I'm destined to be evil. Yes, you are. We all are, ultimately. Cat saying, I think there is a specialised store for bald people with beards and military uniforms. I'll just skimp through to the end so we can keep on going. Hi, Korosami, how you going? Keen to see the graphical improvements. I think it stops a lot of potential players. I think it does to a degree. Andre's in sort of saying it's almost a common complaint when I try to sell people on the game. It looks like poop from bum. Korosami saying exactly. Many a great game has passed on because of lackluster graphics. Dominions is a good example. Yeah, it's sort of funny. I showed some people Dominions a few months ago now, and that was like, why on earth would you play that? And it was like, yeah, it's one of the best games ever made. So Andre's saying, I love Dominion, so this sort of game doesn't scare me. Yeah, Dom 6 was my game of the year last year, says Andre. Yeah, it's a great game. Casual saying, well, that's 1,000 years ago. I'm not sure what we were talking about there. Stellaris is 20. Yeah, that's Neo Scavenger. Stellaris is 2016. Holy crap, time flies. Yeah, it does. Stellaris though has a lot of updates. So it sort of keeps on sort of improving itself. And Korosami saying, I really couldn't get into Stellaris. I just sort of haven't had time to get into it. Space lanes are a big turn off, says Korosami. I don't mind it because it does create choke points, and that can be important. Highly educated trucker saying, Daz, have you ever taken a peek at Solemn Infernum and or Shadows of Forbidden Gods? Solemn Infernum is a recent remake of an old tactical game. Absolutely, there it is right there. So I've got, and we've covered this a few weeks ago actually, because they brought out another update, but the actual development company is actually not in active development anymore. And they stopped a year ago, and soon after they released Solemn Infernum, and but then they did come back. I think they've got like a skeleton crew work on it, which is good. So I'm sort of hopeful that they will bring back more development for it. But it's a very good game, like extremely good. So Andrew's saying, I bought everything they sold for Stellaris. My poor wallet. Yeah, no, that's big. All the DLCs. Holly Chico showing, man, I played Pong when it was the only video game available. Takes a lot to turn me off graphics. Yes, I'm from the same era. So Kat saying, my favourite military strategy game, World War One, was always been Combat Arms 2, A Bridge Too Far. I don't know if I've played that one. Korosami saying, Solemn Infernum has to be played with other people to the amazing. Yeah, I think it does to be absolutely the best, but it actually is still very good even as a single player. We were trying to set up a multiplayer game of that some time ago when it first came out, but anyway, that's sort of now too old. So Dom is saying, I used to love what's that? SEIV. Stellar Empires, I think. Stellar Empires 4, using star bases to guard stay lanes. It was fun. Yes, that was a good old game, wasn't it? Back in the 90s. Korosami saying, no fun in betraying and tricking the AI. Much better when it's real people. Or maybe it was Stellar Empire 3. Yeah, I think that for whichever one of them, was it Malfador Games or something that actually developed those? Anyway, whatever it was, that's a long time ago. Andre is saying, I played E.T., I'm not sure what that is, for the Atari when I was a kid. Nothing scares me. There we are. So Xenonauts 2 got another hot fix for Milestone 5, says Hugh David. I do mean to do live streams of that, actually. I was thinking yesterday that I should actually go back and set up an actual a series. I think when we finish one of the current series that we've got, maybe once like Age of Wonders finished, because that's getting close now to finishing. Once that one finishes, I might sort of crank up Xenonauts. Highly educated trucker saying Solemn Infernum was made by the same dev as Armageddon Empires. They farmed out the Solemn Infernum remake. Hopefully they'll do the same for Armageddon. Yeah, Armageddon Empires was great as well. Yeah, Space Empire 4. Yeah, Malfador Machinations. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I remember them. It's sort of funny. It's a shame that those sort of companies aren't still cranking along. That was a family company, I think. E.T. was like a Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah. So highly educated trucker saying, Daz, I'm in your age bracket, though I do have hair. Yeah, no, I haven't had hair for a long time. Quite possibly the worst game ever made, says Andre. So Chris is saying, hi Daz, sorry late to the party. Did you get my Discord message about Oceania, the new Mewtwo clone out this year, already on Android. Yes, I did actually. I gave you a thumbs up when I saw it. I saw it just before I started in here. I'd love to see a multiplayer Let's Play with you and the Explominate crew. Would be hilarious. Well, that was battle mode, myself and who else was going to play it? There's a few of us. Lucid Tactics. There's a number of us. I think we're going to be trying to get a game of it going. But that was a long time ago, so it's not going to happen now. It's hard enough for us to go back and play another session of Carrier Command, which we all want to do. So we'll get there eventually. Yeah, so it was so that was interesting. Anyway, we're going to have to start winding up, and we sort of to go through. Well, let's go through the news about what's actually happened. So Mad Hat Raven Discs have had fun with the version of Armageddon Empires that's currently on Steam. Is it called Armageddon Empires? There was a sort of like a remake of it from another, but I forget what it was called. It didn't do very well, unfortunately. But Armageddon Empires is a great little game. Trucker saying, never forgot that the official title of Mewtwo is Master of Orion, Battle of Antares, Bar for short. And saying I love that the devs named it that. Yeah, well, that was an old Microprose game too, wasn't it? That was Nedland saying, holy moly, there's so many good games out there. Problem is which one to choose. Yeah, very much so. It's a Cryptic Comet game. Yeah, Cryptic Comet was they were that was a single developer. You know, he built all of those games that he built, like the original Solium Infernum and also Armageddon Empires, were all done in the precursor to Flash, believe it or not. And he did such a good job with that engine. Like, it was such a crappy engine, and he just did he had great games for using that particular engine. It was actually, I even got it up there. It was called Director, I think. Yeah, I've got Director up on my shelf from, geez, it must be back in around the year 2000. It's actually, I've got it sitting up there. And that was developed. I always remember, because when I had Director, when I found out that he had built this game in Director, I'm thinking, geez, he's really done well there. Anyway, let's get into, I'll just move the chat off the way, and I'm going to have to ignore the chat there for a little while. And we'll just go through essentially the last of the news with the in Steam. And go to the library. And was there anything I wanted to talk about in here? Space Menace 2 has just come out. That's actually this is a really easy little beer and pretzels type game, just to go and play. Now I'm not allowed to talk about. Don't look at that one, guys. I'm not allowed to talk about that one. so that's it. That's in my embargo list, I think. Have I got that in embargo? Yeah, that's under. No, it's not under embargo. It's just a demo at this stage, anyway. That's not allowed to talk about that one. So don't look at that one. And we've just had a look at these through here. Kingdom's deck is one that I can't. When can I install that? There's that one I haven't actually had a look at yet. I think it installs today. I think if I just go and yeah, I can now install this. Haven't been able to install it until now. I'll just get that one started. It's 2 gigabytes. No, I'll cancel that. Actually, I'll install it, but then pause it, because I did want to test it. If it doesn't install, I don't see it. I'll just go and pause that one. So that's actually an interesting looking kingdom building game. Like, it's fairly simple. It is card based, but it looks pretty cool. I've got another one as well, which I'm allowed to play today, which is actually called Castlecraft. If you have a look and see, which I was playing that one earlier. There it is. This one here also looks fairly interesting. But I've only played a small portion of it. I've played half an hour at this point in time. Actually, that needs to be updated as well. I'll go and update that one, but pause it. I'll probably actually do these ones and show these ones more fully. This one is, yeah, I'll just pause that for now. So that's just going to be queued up. I'll just go back. So we'll have to cover that one as well. This one is one where you, actually what I should do is actually just go in and show the store page. This one's only just come out today, where you essentially go and build a a little castle. I'll play it without sound. And so you construct a castle during the daylight. You have to, I think you can do most of these things where you can have it on active pause. But the different groups that come in, I think that they procedurally expand in different ways. The actual the enemies that do come in. It's again fairly simplistic. I did have some problems with it, but it's really only just come out. So it does look pretty cool the way it sort of does work. So you end up sort of like creating these castles. The enemies then spawn across. You've then got to defend. You can see there's in there you can actually go and play as different units, but you can also do other things as well. Like you can have automatic units. So it's quite an interesting looking game. You've got different seasons as well with what you're then doing. You've got different worlds, different trap systems. So it's almost like a tower defense, but with I think that and I've only played it for half an hour, but I did want to show it because this one does looks like it could actually have some pretty good scope if you like these sort of games, and I tend to like these sort of games, to be honest. But now, when I was playing it, it was a good week or so back. It's only just come out today, so I've been under embargo. We haven't been allowed to talk about it or show it until today. So I will be looking to try to play that at some point and actually do something a bit more seriously with it. We won't keep on looking at any more of that. We'll just go back in again. We might also have a look at the other one that's just coming back in as well. Broken Arrow. I played this on Slytherin channel. I'm not allowed to show it on my channel, but I did play it on the Slytherin channel. God, that's good. I think there's going to be a lot of people that really, really like this one. So look out for Broken Arrow. It's coming out in a couple of months' time. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show that, what I've got on my own channel, but I'd like to show that because it's just graphically so beautiful. Like they've done such a good job of this. It's funny because when I first started playing it back in the early beta stages, I didn't really love it, but I don't love it as such. I'd still prefer other games, but it's actually, but I'm really impressed by it, and I think that people will actually really warm to that one as well. Sorry, Korosami, it looks like Nightbot's getting activated again. There we go. You've done Moobar Oink. You can't do that. It won't let me unview your previous messages anyway. Anyway, so that's actually, so you look out for that one. Space Menace 2 is like a very, very simplistic sort of combat game. I won't show that one. Kingdom Deck is, as I said, has only just come in. I'm under no embargo there. Let's go to the store page. So it came out yesterday. It's actually already got positive ratings, 93%, which is pretty cool. This is actually like the one thing I'm a bit concerned about with this one, let's just actually go and have a look at this one, is that it's card driven. So you essentially use cards to build up what you've got. So that does give you a bit of sort of randomization, I guess. And then you fight hordes with whatever you've sort of been able to build. And so you can see through there, the different cards then come in. You've then got to sort of allocate the cards where they're going to go. You've got different spells. And so that's the card system through there. So it's going to be mainly, it's got 6 different maps, as you can see through that one. I haven't played it. So it's only, I couldn't even download it until today. So yesterday it looks like I could have done it. So anyway, that's that looks interesting, the way that one's sort of coming through as well. So coming to Steam on the 28th of April, which is, I think that's today for you guys, to 29th for me. So it's only just come out as well. But I look forward to actually having a bit of a play with that one. We might have a closer look at these next week. Anyway, let's go back to the library again. And just expand it up a little bit. And go back into here. Right, so still, okay, is now Kingdom's Deck is there. Hang on, why is it not showing that? Just go to download. It's not showing me the news. I normally have news items at the top. There we go. Okay, we'll just get rid of that one through there. Okay, so just going through Republica, we've now gone through. So I think it's going to be better than the description for Republica. So I'm looking forward to that one. Space Menace is now released in early access. This is as I said before, very much a beer and pretzels game. It's fairly easy to play. Like I know there's been a few games like it. I forget what the name of it is. There's one that starts with S that is similar, where you sort of have like spaceships. You sort of maneuver them, work them in around different areas. Actually, I'll show it. It's so simple. I think I will. Yeah, I will. Yes, we will. Because I know I'll forget otherwise. I'll just go to continue. So essentially you've got your different ships. So the way it works, I'll just do this really, really quickly. The modules, this is the FOV essentially, so you can sort of see where the fog of war type thing is, and really it's the field, it's the not fog of war, field of view for the different weapon systems. The weapon systems, you've then got things like where you can sort of repair ships. You've got the different aspects about what they then do as well. Formations, you can then sort of set them up to to be sort of set up in different ways as you get more and more ships. If I just go and go back out of that one. So is it going to move? No, not yet. The star map will then sort of go through. You can see it's fairly extensive, but it's very, very simple the way it sort of does work. Missions, at this stage I don't have any missions, so I need to go and grab a mission. Loadouts is where you then go and design the like from your cargo hold. You then actually have a thing where you can then start to sort of build up the modules in your ship depending on what colour they are. You've got a module builder where you can actually then use, I think you need all 9 of these to be able, I haven't got to this stage yet. So drag and drop a submodule into the first slot in the module builder, and you sort of then end up building a grouping through here, but it has to be all of the same type. So at the moment it's pretty sort of basic the way it sort of does work with the mod builder. You can see I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 of those on that ship. If I go to the next ship, I've got 4, 5, 6. I don't have the 9 required to sort of finish any of these things off. So this one doesn't have any green slots. It only has like yellow slots. So you can sort of put different engines in. You find these after combat. If I go to the station, you then can buy different ships, but I don't have enough money for these. You can buy modules as well, but I don't have enough money for those either at this stage. Or you can just get missions. So this is actually the rewards you then go and get. Like if we do a pirate hunt, I'll just go and do this one through here. Difficulty is going to be on normal, reputation +2. I'll just accept the mission. I'll just go into the star map, and so that's where the mission is. So if I go that way, we're going to have to sort of bounce our way through. Let's just go and do it. It's going to cost me to go and do those jumps. So it's very, very quick and easy. So in we come. This is now the formation. You can see it now sort of going through. We've got 2 different pirates we then have to go and deal with. And I can just sort of zoom these out. There's a station here that we have to try to protect. They've launched a small craft there. So I'll just start to sort of move with these. Get rid of that small craft if we can. Okay, that's down. So our craft, that's the energy, so you can sort of see that sort of dissipating. And that one, it's almost down. Still got a little bit of health. We've lost a bit of health on ours as well. Okay, that one's now been blown up, so we've got 1 more left. I'm not firing it, I'm just moving, all I'm doing is maneuvering, so it's very easy to play. Like it's not a hard game. I always worry that it's going to be complicated to play these, but this one's not. There we go. So we've now gone and done things. Don't know if we can pick those things up. These are the people actually that are here. Oh, there's still more. There we go, we've got to run over them to pick them up. Don't even bit worried about how little we actually have through here. Yeah, I might actually move off. So let's go back out to the star map and move up to here. Oh, hang on. No, we won't do that. Let's see if I haven't actually tried to repair anything. It's just on the other side of this. Anyway, I won't keep on playing, but that's it's a very simple game, like a very, very simple game. I know some of you will like it, so I'll just go back out to the main menu, exit the main menu, yes, and quit. Alright, so that's Space Menace 2, which has just come out. So anyway, that's thought I'd just show that one off. Hearts of Iron 4 Operation. I haven't played a Hearts of Iron for a long, long period of time. There's Zephon. The Twisted and the Hollow is out now, and I didn't even know this was coming. Pleased to announce a release of Zephon's first DLC, The Twisted and the Hollow. 2 new leaders, 7 new units. I'll have to contact them actually and see if I can get hold of it. Yeah, I'll have to give them a hoy. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot in there. Oh, that's another one we'll have to play, won't it? Forget that one. Yeah, so we've got the new Quarter 2 DLC is coming. There we are. Yeah, I didn't even realise. I'll have to check my emails. I very often get sent emails and I just miss them. Crusader Kings 3, Khans of the Steppes, Norland has got a patch. Total Conflict Resistance has been updated. That's a pretty cool game actually. The Imperial Guard from Escape the Mad Empire. I haven't really played that one fully yet. Stellar Monarch 2 has version 1.22 has been released for that one, and also the expansion has just come out for that one. Roots Rising, this is just an announcement, so this is coming for Songs of Conquest. Rajas and Tribes is coming as well next month, so that's going to be coming out fairly soon. So yeah, just going through the dev diary there. We covered that fairly extensively last week. Okay, then we've got Broken Arrow, The Last Russian Spec Decks. This is amazing actually what they've done with this, just going through the different units and things. Again, there's like with all of the actual special forces, just going through, you know, the different types. Like, it's just amazing. The actual, as I said before, the actual graphics in the game is incredibly well done. Like, it's just such a fun game to play. Like, it looks beautiful. Anyway, let's leave that one there. So let's get this marble run going. So we'll give away 2 games today. I haven't even figured out which ones I'm going to give away. I've got actually I've got some good ones in here. I'll go with actually, which one should I do? I'll go with Against the Storm. So we'll do Against the Storm, and we'll go with Starship Troopers as well. So I've got 2 of them to give away here. So again, thank you to Sharky Mouth for giving me these keys. So what we'll do is we'll go with the last place is always a bit tricky, but I think we'll go with first and last. Yeah, we'll go with first and last, and we'll play, and then we'll have if we have like you know, where there's 2 firsts or multiple last places, then we'll do a runoff with those particular groups. So what we'll do is we'll just get set up. So I'll just go and get Nightbot running. So I'll just make sure that this is all going to happen. It's funny, it didn't actually. I might just start Nightbot up again. Okay, giveaways. I'll just double check. That should then bring in the chat. It's weird. It's not actually not. This it was played up last week as well. I'll just go with the word win. Click on done. Yeah, just type the word win in, guys, and see if that works. Yeah, I've got the internet access, so that seems to be working out okay. So I think we're still active. Let me have a look. Yeah, still uploading. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. And I'm not seeing it in here either. What is going on? Oh, here we go. That's funny. It's not working in this side, but it is working on this side. And I'm not seeing it in my actual chat either. I'll just reload it, but it is actually working. So obviously it's still doing what it's doing, but my chat just crashed. That's strange. I'm going to have to do this one blind, guys, I think. I can't interact with this. I'll just reload it. Let's see what actually happens here. Is it because I played a game? Maybe it is. Here we go. Oh, it's this one. I'll just go back in again. Should still be running. Sorry about this, guys. I'm pretty sure Nightbot's got it under control, but there we go. There we go. This is better. I don't know what happened there. I'll just pop out the chat again so I can sort of see what's going on. So yeah, so just type the word "win" in, guys, and then we'll get it sort of started. So I'll just go and start up the marble run. So we'll let them sort of come through. Marbles on stream, and then once we get going, we'll then I'll then sort of activate them. Tigeros is saying no comments since 1847. Here we go. I've got a few more wins coming in. So you just type the word "win" in to be in the running. So we'll go first and last place. Oops, now I've got this game. No, this is Marble Run. This is okay. This is okay. All right, so that's working out all right. I'll just get this one set up. Oh no! Come on. Don't know what all this stuff is. Okay, so just go back into the race. Add names. We'll clear out the previous lot. Okay, so we'll now close it off. So just the last few seconds to type the word "win" in if you do want to get into it, guys. You're still typing in, so I'll let it go for a little bit longer. We've got 30 entries so far. All right, so once we get going, that's going to be it. So we'll just get the list of names. Get rid of those, and 30 entries, that'll do us. So we'll go in and copy all the eligible entries. That's now done. Did Drexy get in? I don't know if Drexy got in. No, so I'll add Drexy as well. And we'll just do fine. Did anyone get in? Just want to see who was the last one. Yeah, I think everyone's in. I think everyone's in. So we'll just go with this one here. Just go to find, replace all. Cookie has to be done like that. And Drexy is in there. Okay, so how did you go? So I'm watching back about 5 minutes and was wondering why. So are you in this one? Just make sure that you're in. No, you're not. So I'll pop you in as well. Okay, and Andre, sorry, allegedly Caleb is saying you weren't in as well. Yeah, you're up there. You're up there. Powell is not in there. Okay. Powell S. There we are. And Kat's saying I'm not there. Yes, you are. There you are, right there. Number 17. So here we are. I was wondering if, like a good employee, then notice everyone typing in. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there we are. So so I think we're there. So it's 33. We're going to close it off right now. So this is going to be it. So we'll just get those names in. Unfortunately, I have to do it this way on YouTube. Just go in and we can leave that one where that is. Open. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's the new one. 33. Go finish that one. Go back out to Grand Prix. Now that we've got go bots. 33. So good luck, everyone. So first and last will win the we'll win the prizes. So we'll go and autofill 3 maps. Bit short there actually. I'll just get rid of those 2. Yeah, that looks okay. That looks all right. So what we want is we do want losers here, because we want to get one unique loser. So let's go for it. So we've got everything sort of done. Just going to play. Good luck. Saying Daz, not to be mean, but do you think they would make a game about the ongoing war, or add a mod into a game about it? I'm not sure which war you mean, like the Ukraine war or the. I'm not sure which one you mean. So I purposely don't cover current topics if I can help it. So I know that there's actually different Ukraine type things that I just haven't been playing those. It becomes too contentious. So anyway, let's go and get started. So good luck, everyone. So down we go, down into the loop. Not sure what the relevance of that number is. Give me the first one through. Oh, it's CB. So CB out in the lead here. It's going to go through this area. Gee, this is moving fast. So straight through, and it is still CB in the lead. No, it's Andre is off. Andre has fallen off. In one sense, you want to be dropping off here a little bit, because if you're going to go last place, you need some zeros. CB dropped off in the end there as well. So a lot of people actually dropping off. Hugh David dropped off. Tiger Russ has dropped off. The others are all sort of coming across. Bubo is flying through the air. Black Knight dropped off. Bubo's made it. Okay, a lot of them have now made it into here. We've had a lot of people actually not get through this. So we'll just see who the first one is that comes out. Highly educated trucker is now out in front, hitting the lead, and this should be for the final thing. What I'll do is I'll just follow the marble. Bang. Okay, and straight into here. So currently in the lead. Can still drop off at different places. Still got a little way to go before it's the final element. Got different people coming back through. You have a lot of people actually now sort of dropping through as well. So we've got Kelrash on the other side. But Trucker is out in front from Kelrash. So here comes Bubo, just in behind. Bubo has just taken the lead. Let's go and follow Bubo's marble now. So Bubo coming through, and he's rotating blades by the looks of things. I'm not sure what they do. Different blades coming in this way, and straight through again. And bang, straight up through here. And still going, I think. So still active, and this is the finish line coming up. I think you're out on your own. Yeah, the others are all behind you. How did you go? The trucker's fallen right back. Here we go. So the first one through is now Drexy and Pole have also just dropped off the list there. Here comes Kelrash. Scott Jackson coming in second. Kelrash is still coming. Everyone's sort of bouncing up. What happened to Trucker? Trucker might be caught somewhere in the actual back up here, or has he fallen off? There's Began ZXM. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. Anyway, still a little way to go. Alright, so people are now coming back through. There's Legit Spoon. Oh, are you going to make it? No, you're not going to make it. Okay, so most people actually didn't end up making that one. Alright, final results are... Okay, so actually Highly Educated Trucker did actually manage to get a finish there. So if we go back to the Grand Prix settings, this is actually now the point system. So 3 points there. Cookie got 10th, so got 10 points. And then a lot of zeros. Alright, next map. Good luck, everyone. Alright, get started. Whoa, that's a fairly aggressive start. We're going off in different directions. Let's go and pick one of them. We've got Began, or ZXM, coming back through. Got absolute chaos here. Yep, Thomas Beeler has now fallen off, unfortunately. Well, actually, probably fortunately, depending on whether if there's a lot of people that don't fall off and you manage to get to the bottom of the list, you will get a prize. There's a lot of rocks being thrown at us. Let's just zoom out so we can see what try to get the context of where we are. Who's going to come out the other end? Oh, it's Trucker again out in front. Straight through. This is a trap in here, guys. People will be pushed off from here. There we go. Like, did Serenity fall off? No, Serenity got through. There we go. CB fell off. Oh, it's funny. Tiger Russ is the first one over, are they? Very hard to try to pick out who's in the lead here. Here we go. So it's Trucker and yep. So we've got Serenity, Trucker, and Scott Jackson going through. Oh no, you're okay. You fell off, but fell off onto into the lead there. I think even further ahead. Here they all come. They've all got momentum. See what's going to happen in here. So Black Knight looks to be out in ahead. Allegedly Caleb has been crushed there. So Serenity coming through. Mad Hat Raven Desk. Black Knight still in the lead, and not sure where. I'll just get sort of like one of these placings just to see where we end up. Hugh David's off. It's got Highly Educated Trucker showing out in front there. Is that accurate? Yeah, looks to be. Just to see what happens. Okay, a lot more people falling off this map. Heaps more. Oh, and they both missed. Okay, so who's going to get this the final one here? No, is anyone going to finish it? Where is the finish line? It's up here. Mad at Raven Desk looks to be in a good position here. Nope, fell off. Chris C fell off. Oh no, actually, sorry, Mad Hat Raven Desk did finish. Dom UK finished. Draco Strife finished. Chris C finished. Tiger Russ. Scott Jackson didn't finish. Here comes Drexy. And yeah, ran through the middle. So Drexy's finished. Giza Zone is inside, which is good. Here comes Cat. Go through that little hole there. Introvert didn't make it. No one's going to get the 10 points for coming in 10th. It's just these last two. There we go. The winner made it through there. It looks like the game may have ended before the last two finished. Oh no, Cat did finish. There we are. So let's have a quick look at the Grand Prix settings. So at this stage, wow, this is anyone's game. Anyone's game here, I think. Should we get the total points there? Points 20 there. Yeah, so it's a bit hard to see. We've got Bubo on 20. We've got Mad Hat Raven Desk on 20. So are they out in front? 17 points there. It's a bit hard to sort of see it here. 15 here. 12 there. A lot of zeros. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting mix. Anyone's game. If anyone wins it, it could be anyone's game. So these have been fairly aggressive maps. Okay, let's go to the next one. See how we go here. So anyone can win or lose this. We could have a couple of playoffs. So we'll see how we go. So we'll get started. Good luck. I'll just pick any old marble and we'll just follow it down. This is Rocklight. That's the finish line way over there. Still inside the tube. Right, got a few that are now making their way through. That's still Rocklight. The Rocklight, we just happen to pick whoever the winner is. Whoa, this is going to get aggressive. So Rocklight has now got held up by the exploding barrels. And we now get into these areas. So Yarkoon out in front over this side. Draco Strife on the other side. Okay, they're making their way through. And through the traps. I think Draco Strife is out in front over here. I know Scott Jackson is. Went around the outside of all of those. But this could end up being quite dangerous here. This is where certain balls will then fall off. I think that's Scott Jackson's out in front there. Will you make it? Will you make it? Yes, you have. So I think Scott's actually in the lead. Draco, we don't have the name on it anymore, but Draco Strife coming in next. This is also dangerous. Straight through. Straight through there as well. Cookie's off. Which is, again, possibly a good thing. ZXM is off as well. Alright, Scott Jackson finishes first. Legit Spoon finishes in second. 3 is Hugh David. 4 is Drexy. 5 is Rocklight. 6 is Grob. 7 is Chris. 8 Bubo. Okay, everyone's now finishing, which is good. So we're going to get a bit of a spread of points here now, guys. And some of you that will have been looking for the last place will possibly be disappointed. Kelrash coming in. But there's a few of you that got 0 points. And if you were on 0 points before, we could have a bit of a... we could have a clear loser. The loser is probably the one that's going to be the hardest one. All right, so congratulations, Scott, for that one. Let's have a look and see. I'm just going to end the Grand Prix and we'll look at the points, the total points. So we'll go through the winner's circle here, but it doesn't mean it's the actual winner. So third is Mad Hat Raven Desk. Second is Bubo. And Scott Jackson coming in first for the overall Grand Prix at this stage. Let's have a look at the points. There we go, clear winner. So Scott, you are definitely the winner. So I'll just go and get these games again. So you're going to get Against the Storm. So so you've got that one through there. So Against the Storm is for Scott Jackson. And the last place, we have a look at the points. So we go down through the points and through here. 6 points. We've got a few on one. We've got any zeros? Yes, we do. ZXM got 0 points, so clear winner for last as well. I was getting worried when I saw all the ones. I thought, oh no, we're going to have a playoff between this many people, which would have been hard. So ZXM is 3 deaths. There we go. And so you got the 3. You lose, which means you win. So you're going to get Starship Troopers Terran Command, is what you get for that one through there. So some great games. So saying the 20th. So you're on 6 points, but a few of you were close, but you just happened to. It was interesting with that last one. There was only 2 deaths, I think, in the whole game. In that last one, so certain points out the way through. But Scott, clear winner, and ZXM. So guys, if you can actually email me at Daz at, I'll just type this one in. Did I spell that one correctly? Yeah, just Daz at DazTactic.com. So if you can actually give me a call, please. An email. I will then get that one out. So, but that was really, really cool. So that was, it was a good little run at the end there, and Began or ZXM actually doing extremely well at the very, very end. Of course, everyone's a winner in my eyes. No, it was good fun. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call this session to a close. So thanks for watching, and be back next week if you're here for ChatTactic. Otherwise, tomorrow. Don't know what we'll be playing tomorrow. Then on Worldly Wednesdays, we'll continue playing Distant Worlds. Got some interesting, that's in an interesting position now. We're war back with the Daywits again, so we've got some fun things happening there. Anyway, I'll catch you over the next coming days or next week if you're just here for the ChatTactic. I'll catch you then. Thanks for watching.